Hey, what's up, guys? Hartman here. We're gonna be ripping some best ball manias tonight. Underdog put out a new best ball mania promo this week, so definitely excited to see that. Always nice getting a little bit extra EV in your BBMs, especially down the stretch. They're trying to get it to fill a little bit extra. So nice to see that. We're I think we're gonna let's just hop right in to the first one, and then we'll kind of get into it a little bit. So we're waiting for five in the BBM, waiting for four. So if anyone is in here wants to hop in, then go for it. But I don't know. Yeah, just wanted to talk a little bit. Oh, I'm in a bunch of eliminator slows as well. But I just want to talk a little bit. Like, I put in the title players I'm hammering down the stretch. We got a comment on the last video, and talked a little bit with TCal 31. They just kind of mentioned after like a lot of my picks and stuff, I was saying it's fine or it's okay, like not really. They didn't say this, but I felt like too, I was like not really paying a ton of attention to the draft. Sometimes sometimes I do that a little bit with the I don't know, just getting caught up with the chat or something like that. So I think I want to just try to lock in on a best ball mania or two, just really kind of, I don't know, maybe talk about some of the players I'm really trying to target down the stretch and stuff, just really kind of lock into that. And it works out perfectly right off the jump. We get the 101. You love to see it. Obviously, the Jameer Gibbs spot. I mean, he's the best player in the NFL. He might put up 23 touchdowns like LT. Who knows? He might go for 20 plus though. Yeah, I mean, Jameer Gibbs is a clear 101. I've always been a Jameer over Bijan guy. Somehow I have a little bit more Bijan. That's sad to see. I must have more 102s than 101s. But yeah, Jameer Gibbs, I mean, he's gonna go crazy this year. He's the obvious 101. It's easy. Easiest pick of my life right there. We even we even got a little, I think we might even have a little something for Jameer Gibbs when we pick him.
Speed, man.
I love that clip. I love playing the Jameer Gibbs clip. It is the longest clip I have too. So sorry if it was a little bit long. But but I do love hitting the Jameer Gibbs clip. But yeah, no, I mean he's been my 101 the whole time. I mean, pre-draft, post-draft, obviously, he's been the 101 most of it. I think Bijan might have been the 101 in pre-draft, but I was still going Gibbs over him. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Lions fan, so it's pretty easy to just make the decision to go with Gibbs. Like the Bijan people, I think they have a decent argument, but like the Falcons just team situation so much worse, right? I mean, Gibbs just feels so much better. The Lions feel so much better. Even if maybe their offensive line's a little bit more questionable than past years, it's still just so much better of a situation than the Falcons. I mean, you got Tua throwing the ball in the dirt. They just Michael Penix just got cleared for 11 on 11s, I think today. So I don't know, just their quarterback spot feels so shaky. I think it just makes me like even more confident that it's clearly Jameer at the 101. It might even realistically be Jamar Chase at the 102 if I was being honest, but I don't know. The top running backs are pretty valuable. So that one's maybe a little bit of a tough call, but actually like looking at my exposures, I do have quite a bit less Chase than I have Bijan or Gibbs. So like if I get to that point where I'm at my last couple of BBMs, I will take Chase over Bijan. I'll never take him 101, but I would take him 102 if I get closer to the end and I have like pretty low Jamar Chase. So that would even be something I would consider doing like as my BBMs close out. Uh, but today we're just I don't think I'm gonna max BBM or nothing, but I probably will try to get in like I don't know, closer to 100. And then with this promo this weekend, I'm definitely gonna get in 4 this weekend. For anyone that doesn't know, too, you have to enter on mobile, but they have a promo: do 4 best ball manias, you get 1 entry free. So that's a pretty nice promo. That's pretty nice. Like for the, I think if we look at the rake for BBM, it's probably like 12%, 10.8%. So I mean, you're getting like more than the rake back on all 5 of those entries by getting the free entry. So I don't know. It's nice to see the promos drop. That makes it just a little bit better for your overall EV, and just makes it a little bit easier to get a couple drafts in. Do 4, get 1. That seems like a pretty decent promo. Oh, we got a couple people in the chat. Air Jeff, aloha. Hey, what's up, Air Jeff? Thanks for stopping by, bro. First on fantasy, having the 101 in BBM and taking Gibbs feels like cheating. LOL. I know. He really might go off for one of the best, like, I mean, it really might be one of the best running back seasons in like a decade, or like maybe like Christian McCaffrey. Like it might be like a prime CMC season. But I think his touchdown upside could even be a little bit higher than prime CMC, just with how good the Lions offense could be. I mean, obviously that's pretty lofty expectations, but I really think he could get there. All right, so we're definitely going to take Malik Neighbors here. Oh, and just so you guys know, these are my Best Ball Mania only exposures. But definitely want Malik Neighbors. I'm pretty much all in on Malik Neighbors. I'm willing to grab him there. And then let's do the game stack. I think that feels great. I actually don't have Neighbors and George Pickens paired up in BBM either. So that feels really good. We're going to do that Giants Dallas game stack. George Pickens is a guy I've been a little bit lower on, but I think that he goes in a fair range. I think the issue with him that I've had kind of this whole offseason is last year was a contract year for him. And then towards the end of the year, he kind of fell off and it seemed like he wasn't really putting in effort. I will say that there's a good chance that maybe he knew that the franchise tag was coming. And, he didn't really feel an incentive to like really try anymore because the team was already kind of out of the playoffs. He was good. He was getting franchise tagged either way. He wasn't going to get a long-term contract last year. So I think maybe I worried about that a little bit too much early. Maybe not. Maybe we see the same story this year and he lets me down in the playoffs again. George Pickens was my highest owned receiver last year, but maybe lets me down in the playoffs again this year, but I think I definitely want more of him. And especially when I have a neighbors team and I can get the game stack, that feels like the perfect spot to get more George Pickens. And I really do think there's a chance that I honestly think there's a chance George Pickens outscores CD Lamb. I really think that's a real possibility. I think that Lamb will get more targets, get more receptions, probably get more yardage, although like Pickens can also be a pretty like deep play guy, at times. But I think Pickens could really get there with just double digit touchdowns. I think Pickens could realistically score, I don't know, 14 touchdowns. I think is well within his range, even with CD healthy. I mean, we look at last year, he only had 9 last year, but he was number 1 in red zone targets, I believe. I think he could get in the double digit touchdowns, and I think that could lead him over Lamb. I don't think that's a guarantee or anything, but obviously when you're getting Pickens around later, I think when he just plays in such a potent offense and he was like such a heavy red zone target for Dak, I think he does feel pretty good to target. And then, obviously I think the Giants Cowboys is one of the best week 17 games to target as well. Just, kind of softer defenses and should be pretty high scoring overall, pretty potent offenses, softer defenses. I guess the Giants offense has a little bit more question marks, but neither defense should be super elite. The Giants front 7 will probably be fine, but I don't know how their secondary is going to look. I don't think it's supposed to be very good. So I don't know. That definitely feels like a game I want to target. And then I have Gibbs up top as my anchor. So pretty happy with this start so far. Obviously it's somewhat of a common start, but pretty happy with it so far. Air Jeff, the Frenchie Sprint is a terrible format. I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of it. I saw it was like a huge finals. We can let me make this pick and then we'll actually look at that format really quick because I haven't done any of them and I don't think I plan on it either. Okay, see Cam Skattew's falling. I don't really feel like he should fall. I like Montgomery a lot too, though. I know people are like somewhat scared of Woody Marks right now. Do I want the double Giants? That's the real question. Do I want to double down on the Giants? I think, okay, we got Monty. I think because I like Monty and Scottaboo quite a bit. You can see I'm pretty overweight on both of them. I don't have Bucky with any of these guys. I don't really have Scottaboo with most of these guys, though, either. Just with Gibbs once, not with Neighbors and BBM. Let's do the Scottaboo thing. I love Cam Scottaboo. I think that his fall is kind of ridiculous. I don't think Najee Harris is going to take anything away from Cam Scottaboo, really. I think Najee Harris is more like the Tyrone Tracy killer. And I know that Najee is more similar in play style to Cam Scottaboo than Tyrone Tracy, maybe, in the sense that like Najee's not really explosive or anything. He's kind of more of a bruising back like Scottaboo is. But I just think that Tracy I think that they're going to have a really hard time using him other than in like very negative game scripts where they're way behind and they really need to try to make like explosive plays out of the backfield. And even then, I don't know because Scatabo is a really good receiver. So I don't know. I'm just really not feeling good about Tracy at all. I really feel like Najee's there to like kind of take Tracy's role as the other like change of pace running back. But I still feel really confident in Scatabo. I guess the thing to me, if Scatabo is the talent that I think he is, then Najee Harris coming off the ACL is irrelevant. And if Scatabo is not the talent that I think he is, then he probably shouldn't have been going this high anyway. So like, I don't know. I just feel really confident in Cam Scatabo as a talent. I think he's an elite receiver. I think he's not a super explosive rusher, but he's very elite at forcing missed tackles. He doesn't very often get negative plays, right? He's getting a lot of positive plays. He's breaking the first contact every time almost. And I don't know. I just have very strong belief in Scatabo as a player. And then with Montgomery too, I just think he could get there just on the high workload. I actually think Montgomery's a little bit underrated, especially as a pass catcher. I think Montgomery is a very underrated pass catcher because it seems like to be kind of the consensus that like, oh, Woody Marks is just going to be the pass catching back and he's going to take all this work from Montgomery. But I think 2 years ago Montgomery was a top 3 in the league in yards per route run for running backs. He's put up pretty good reception seasons for us before. Like, let's just look at his receiving really quick. Last year was obviously a little bit lower, but he still put up 24 catches for 192, 36 catches for 341 the year before. Year before that, he was injured, but gets 16 for 117. Year before that, 34 for 316 and 1. So, we've seen him in the 30 reception numbers multiple years. And like 2 years ago, that was even splitting time with Gibbs, right? Because he only had 185 carries. He wasn't really like a super full-time player with Gibbs being the main starter. And I don't know, I just think Montgomery's receiving is a little bit underrated. I don't think it's really a guarantee that Woody's just going to soak up all this passing work. I know Woody looked really good against the Raiders backups too, and maybe he has taken a little step as a runner, but I just think Woody's just not a talented enough runner to really take Montgomery off the field. And I think Montgomery really has that upside, just kind of like Mixon did 2 years ago, right? Where Mixon, he did kind of get there on touchdowns, but like 2 years ago, or I guess this is 2 years ago, we saw him go for 245, 1,000, 11 touchdowns, 36 for 309 and 1. Very similar to a Montgomery stat line actually there. But I don't know. I feel like we could see Montgomery have a similar season to what Mixon had 2 years ago on the Texans. I think the Texans offensive line, they definitely improved this offseason from where they were last year. And yeah, I guess I'm just hopeful the overall offense can improve a little bit. Like, I feel like a big part of why they were so bad last year on offense was because they had no running back and the offensive line was so poor. But having no running game, I mean, they just weren't a threat on the ground, right? Woody Marks just isn't a very talented rusher. So I think that'll be a lot different this year with Monty there. But so far feeling pretty good with the start with Scatabo picking or Neighbors Pickens and then Gibbs Montgomery Scatabo. So here, I would probably, if Jaden Daniels is there, I'll probably pick him. Okay, he's there. See, but I'm going to be looking at Dart next turn. Well, what else do I want? I kind of want more Jaden Reed. Yeah, I want more Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed's a player that I think that he'll never really like, he's never going to absolutely crush and just like be a wide receiver 1, but I do think he can give us really nice spike weeks. I think he goes at a pretty fair price, and I'm not a big believer in Golden, so maybe that does get Reed some more outside work. Okay, Jaden Daniels or DK Metcalf. I like both these guys. I like Jaden a little bit more, but yeah, okay. We went DK. We went DK over Jaden. I was kind of shuffling them around. I like Jaden. I like Jaden a lot where he goes still, and I know like Laramie Tunsil got hurt, and that is a little bit concerning, but I feel like with Jaden, it's really just about does he stay healthy or not? I feel like if he's healthy, he's just a great pick where he goes. I think the only issue I had on this team is I'm really going to be targeting Jackson Dart at 96, 97. I will say if Dart goes before me, that would probably put me in some pain. But I will really be targeting Dart here. So I didn't know if I really wanted to go with the quarterback at the 6-7 turn and then another at the 8-9 turn. And Jaden Daniels would have been fully on stacked, which I think is fine. My catch rate is fine. But no, I think Jaden Daniels there is like I think he's totally good on stacked. It's just that when I know I'm going to be targeting Dart, and that's ahead of Dart's ADP, so he should be pretty likely to make it back to me. You never know what the room will give you, but Dart should be pretty likely to make it back. So yeah, I think it's not the best idea structurally to take an elite quarterback and then plan to take another one right after, right? That's kind of why I went away from Jaden Daniels, even though I think he's a good pick at that price. I think structurally, knowing how I'm going to draft on the next turn, it doesn't make as much sense to take Jaden Daniels there. It made more sense to get the other receiver, even though I was kind of flip flopping on DK Metcalf, Jaden Daniels. I think it made sense to go with two more receivers. I went double running back on the turn before. It's nice to be a little bit caught up at a receiver. Now I don't really have to worry about it. So yeah, I think that feels pretty good. What up? Looking forward to your FFPC draft tonight. Hell yeah. Hey, what's up, Pud Daddy? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Hey, and yeah, definitely check out that. Me and Candyman are going live on his channel at 7:30 Pacific tonight. I actually have it linked in the description below that video. So me and him are going in a big gorilla. It's a $350 entry, FFPC draft. So definitely check that out. We're going live 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern over on his channel. And then the draft starts at 8 Pacific. So we're going to get on there, talk a little strategy for, 20, 30 minutes. And then we're going to get into that high stakes draft. So, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. We did one last year. It didn't do quite so hot, but last year we did it in like June, and we got crushed with some injuries. We picked Brock Bowers first round. It's tight end premium for anyone that doesn't know. And then we picked Rashi Rice, then he gets suspended 2 months later. It didn't work out great, but we're going to try it again. It's a fun format. It's a fun site. So we're going to try out the high stakes again. Air Jeff, is that where Price is going now? Fifth? No, that guy pulled him up. Because where did he go? Yeah, he went at 54. His ADP is probably like 63 or something. It's like the same, 61. So maybe he's been moving up like a very tiny bit, but his ADP is still like early sixth or so. So in the same range. Jordan Tyson, he's taken a while to fall. I'm thinking about picking more Alec Pierce, but I think I'm still going to avoid since I'm already a decent amount overweight. I do like Alec Pierce, but the injury is just worrying me. The beat reporters were saying they haven't seen him run full speed once this offseason. They're pretty concerned about maybe he plays week one, but how is he going to look week one? So obviously we're grabbing Jackson Dart. That one's obvious. We're going to stack up our Giants. We have the Dallas bring back. That one's a gimme. And then I do like Alec Pierce, but I just don't think I can pick him with that injury right now when I already have a little bag of them too. I do like Pittman. Like Pittman never feels like a bad pick. I always feel fine with Pittman. I do like Dobbins too, but I do kind of like Dobbins actually. Okay. This is actually the Dobbins pick. I like that there. I'm really big into Dobbins. I've been like pretty big into him the whole time. But I feel like now, like with the current structure, the running backs are just really, really drying up in these next couple of rounds. Like it's basically like if I'm not done by the 14th round at running back, I'm stuck taking like Jaden Blue and Marshawn Lloyd, which are fine picks. Like I'm okay with Jaden Blue and Marshawn Lloyd, but like you're taking full on backups who are contingent plays, right? Maybe like they get on the field enough that like, oh, well, they actually hit for a week or two because Jaden Blue is fast as fuck. So he took a pass to the house or whatever. But like I'm not going to be able to pick guys with like real roles in just like a couple rounds. So I think I'm going to go into more of my like robust RB bags more often. It's not even like it needs to be super robust. I mean, I guess this one kind of is 3 by 5 rounds is actually pretty robust. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning more into my robust RB bags right now, just given the current landscape, I feel like. But but yeah, that's why I kind of went Dobbins there. I also have like a giant bag of Michael Pittman. So I don't know if I need more when I think it said I had 22% in BBM. I don't know if I exactly need more Michael Pittman. Wow, Stephon Diggs was gone at 87. So that actually makes me feel a little bit better too about not picking Jaden Daniels because I couldn't have backstacked him. Because if I would have picked Jaden, I would have been looking for like Dart Stephon Diggs for sure at that turn. Decent receiving with Gibbs as counterpart. Um I don't know. And what's up, Peanut Punch? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it. I don't know exactly. I don't know. For Montgomery. Right. Montgomery. Yeah, no, and that's true. Yeah, right. He's competing against like a super elite pass catcher, and he still had decent receiving. Hear me out. Tracy Van Gibbs' RB2 in Lions would kind of smash. I agree. Tracy, if he went to the Lions, would be a smash. I actually saw that someone tweeted that. Maybe it was like Justin McMahon or something. He tweeted that was it was pretty interesting. Like Tracy just plays so bad in the preseason, he gets cut and he ends up as Lions RB2. It's really the out we all need. I don't really have too many Tracy bags. I have like 6 or 7%, as I do on most players. My exposures are decently flat, other than a couple spots, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I mean that would work out pretty nice for Tracy. A Fantasy Football Garage in here, GM. Hey, what's up, Fantasy Football Garage? How's it going? My dog, the Fantasy Football Garage. Definitely go check out Fantasy Football Garage if you don't know. We're like I said earlier, we're streaming over on his channel later tonight. We're doing a Big Gorilla. I got it linked in the description. That's unfortunate. Jared Goff one. I would have really liked to pick him. Kenny Gainwell 12 picks after, when he's been getting like a bunch of bullish coach speak. I really like that one. Do I care about any quarterbacks? Jordan Love and Goff go right before me, which is pretty unfortunate. I think, like I was saying, I want to prioritize these running backs a little bit earlier. Let's go with my 5th running back this early. Let's just lock it up. I'm done at running back. I'm not even going to look at that tab anymore, but I feel totally confident in it. I love the Romeo Doubs price. I've been really in on him too I like Debo a lot too, but I think I prefer Romeo Doubs. I think Kelsey's a good pick in this range as well. Do I want to get in at quarterback? No, I think I'm gonna let it take Dobbs. That's good. Yeah. I've been pretty in on Dobbs. I think just they've been talking about using him more in that slot role in the Patriots offense. I think it's just such a great offense. I want to buy pieces of the Patriots. He's one of the cheaper, full-time starters on their offense. He's actually the cheapest. I guess Hunter Henry's the cheapest full-time starter, unless you're a Raritan truther. But Romeo Doubs is, pretty cheap for a full-time starter on one of the best offenses in the league. I've been pretty excited about them talking about using him more in that big slot role as well. So I think he gets some pretty nice usage. I believe in Josh McDaniels as a coordinator. I think if they brought Romeo Doubs in, they paid him all that money, obviously they're going to use him. And, just talking about using him in the slot more efficient ways with a great quarterback, I think he just feels like a good price at 121. Getting pieces of one of the best offense at 121 feels good. Shit. Ban user and delete their comments. There we go. Great name for it too. Great name for it too. I agree. I don't know what the great name was. Sorry, I got a little bit behind. We're getting on our soapbox a little bit more tonight. We're trying to have takes. Like I said, the last video, someone, I'm not going like it. The comment didn't it's nothing crazy, but it was it was actually like a very fair criticism. It was, I was saying it's fine after every pick, and I listened back to some of it, and I really was. So I'm trying to lock in a little bit more and give some more real takes, And I said players I'm targeting, so we're getting some of the guys I'm targeting for sure. With the Giants guys, with Jaden Reed's actually a guy I don't necessarily love his price. I think he's pretty fair price, but I definitely do want more of him. And I really am a big Matthew Golden hater. I hated Matthew Golden last year. I think he's an okay price this year because he goes so cheap, but I'm still just never really going to believe in Matthew Golden as a player. And if that's the case, then I should definitely be getting more Jaden Reed, right? So I think that makes sense. And then I just think the Steelers are kind of an undervalued team as a whole. So I always like getting DK or Pittman or the running backs, Rico. Mainly Rico, and I guess not the running backs, but one of the running backs. Disband Brotherhood. Hey, what's up, Disband? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it. Did a baby grill last night and got Bowers at 12 on Bowers Walker. Felt insane. Damn, that's a nice first down fantasy. Love to see that. I mean, yeah, Bowers at 12. I would think, I guess I don't know his exact ADP, but I would think he goes around 6 or so on average. That's pretty crazy to get him at 12 and tight end premium. I'm definitely a big Brock Bowers believer. I'm a believer he's the best tight end on the planet. And I don't know if it's particularly all that close. All right. So CJ Stroud, with David Montgomery. I was talking about how David Montgomery can pass catch. It's the same bye week as Dart. Do I care? Not particularly. Yeah, that's fine. The common saying. But no, I think that's okay. That's because I needed a quarterback. I don't really want more Cam Ward. I think Mark Andrews is still my top tight end. I know he's falling because people keep saying that he's washed. He could still be washed and catch like 10 touchdowns. So I think I still want me some Mark Andrews, especially on a faller as my first tight end. There's some other tight ends I like, but hopefully I get them back. Mainly, I don't think anyone's in this room with me. I was thinking about pulling up Dalton Schultz. I do think Dalton Schultz should maybe rise a little bit off that Jaden Higgins injury. I think 145 would have been a reasonable spot to pick him. But as you can see, I already have 20% Dalton Schultz. So I didn't totally feel the need to pull him up. I figured I should just maybe take a little bit of the value on Andrews. I'm not as much of an Andrews as washed guy as like some people. I actually think Andrews could still be totally fine. I think he's 20. I think he's 29 years old. Maybe he might be 30. But either way, he's not like too old. We can look real quick. Yeah, he's 30. But 30 for a tight end's not that bad. He hit those like pretty good top speeds last year. Obviously, we hear the pro Mark Andrew guys touting that. He hit 19 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, or whatever last year. One of the few tight ends to do it. So I don't know. I don't feel too bad about Mark Andrews. And on a fall, I actually feel pretty good with it. I really like Juwan Johnson, but if he's gonna go that expensive, and I'm gonna get Andrews back here, I feel better with that. Like I would have definitely looked for Juwan Johnson if he was available as well. But that's fine. I'm definitely happy getting Andrews back here. Um, Coca-Cola sponsor, nice. Yeah, no, they're sponsoring the program. I wish I had a Coca-Cola with me. I should have. I should have got one. Should have got a Coca-Cola to have next to me for this. But yeah, no, they're sponsoring the program now. So happy we finally made it. We made it to the big leagues. Hammered that bot. All right, appreciate it. Appreciate it. I perma banned them after that too. But appreciate it. Appreciate the mods. The mods putting in work. John Termini, what's up, Hartman? Are you drafting another one? Yeah. Hey, what's up, John? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna be drafting one more Best Ball Mania. And then later tonight, I'll be back on with Candyman. We're doing the FFPC Big Gorilla. But but yeah, we're gonna get in one more Best Ball Mania after this. Oh, and if you guys don't know, if you were just coming in a little later, Best Ball Mania, they have a promo right now. Draft 4, get 1 free. So definitely if you're gonna be doing any, get into the promo for sure. I think you have to enter it on mobile, but definitely do the promo if you're getting into any Best Ball Manias tonight. Or I think you have like 4 days to complete it. So you get a little bit to complete it. I think you have to enter it tonight though, but then you get like 4 days after that or something to draft them. Draft 4 get 1's a pretty decent promo. Happy to see that. Big Gorilla is a great name for the tournament. Yeah, I like that name too. I like the Big Gorilla. Yeah, it's pretty good, and it's like good branding because they have if you do the early part, it's like the early Rampage, and then they have like the banana promos are called like the 7 bananas or something promo. So they do pretty good with the branding on that. I definitely like that tournament too. The name and the branding of it's pretty good. Kelly Lapidus, hey, what's up, Kelly? Thanks for stopping by. In the Gorilla, put together a starting lineup and you can push QB. I totally agree with that. Yeah, the starting QB and managed is definitely a lot less important than in like best ball, where the elites feel a lot better in best ball, maybe. Sorry, okay, Hunter Henry's cool. I think Hunter Henry's a fine pick. He fell a lot too. I know there's the Eli Raritan reports, but I don't know. I'm not going to worry too much about some later rookie, just because he's having a couple good camp flashes, especially at tight end. And Hunter Henry got a lot of red zone usage last year. It's not like he looked bad last year. So I think same idea. I got the 2 cheapest pieces on one of the best offenses in the league. I can never be too mad at that. Oh, and let's grab Rodgers. Yeah, I should grab Rodgers now. I need a quarterback to cover week 8. So it's either Rodgers or Bryce Young. But since I have a DK, it's obviously Rodgers. So let's just pull him up right here. I almost forgot about that. That would have been a mistake. But so we got Rodgers there. We locked up that third QB. Obviously there's a chance he falls back. It would have been like 10 picks after his ADP or so if he would have fell back to me. But I think already having him stacked up, obviously you saw I have 20%. So my favorite quarterback pick as is. But having him stacked up and needing to cover that week 8 bye, I think it's definitely worth it to pull him up and really make sure I cover it. So that makes sense to me. Omar Cooper at 172. That's not a bad price. I think I want to get some more Omar Cooper. I don't have very much, so I think I definitely want to pack some bags of him while he's this cheap. First round pick, rookie receiver going this cheap. I think it's worth picking. I'm not a big AD Mitchell believer. AD Mitchell can separate. It's just like, can he actually catch a football? I don't know. He's never really proven that he can. He can separate though. So it could be worth getting more AD Mitchell, but I think I'm going to be getting more Cooper as he falls rather than AD Mitchell. I think AD is fine at this price, but I'd rather get more Cooper as he falls, I think. I think it's just a bigger upside bet when AD Mitchell, we just haven't seen a ton from him yet. Putt Daddy in a 3 tight end build, I don't mind Andrews. Yeah, I totally agree because he's just really the touchdown guy, right? Like he's not probably going to put up like huge yardage games and stuff anymore, but he could very realistically, I think, get like 8 to 10 touchdowns. I think that's very well within his range of outcomes. So yeah, I never mind building a tight end room like this. Like I would say I do late tight end pretty often. And it's nice we got 2 fallers on this build with Henry and Andrews. That even feels a little bit better. Definitely would have liked to get like T Ferg or Schultz back. That would have been nice there too, over like Henry probably. But getting Henry back, that also feels fine. So yeah, I think that always feels like pretty good to me too. I will say there is a chance that I don't really like the tight ends that come back. Oh, I don't mind Fryermuth. I actually don't mind taking the shot on Sadiq either as a third tight end. Because like I don't, as you can see, I don't really have very much Sadiq. I only have 2.9%. But same kind of idea as Omar Cooper, right? We're getting these 2 Jets rookies on pretty big falls right now. And they're first round picks, high draft capital picks. Going that late, it's a good bet. This guy takes Sadiq at the 16-1, which I think is reasonable. But I definitely think I'm gonna try to get a little bit more of them, just like given their real life NFL draft capital, just because they're having a little worse summer, especially Sadiq, since his is more like kind of injury related. Omar's a little bit more scary where it's like he's been healthy, just apparently doesn't look very good. So he's a little bit more scary to bet on, but I think with Sadiq with the first round tight end capital, Mason Taylor is decent, but he's not like a super special tight end prospect. I think that Sadiq at this price feels like a pretty good bet, especially on 3 tight end builds where you can get him at a really reasonable clip and just kind of add him on for like huge upside at the end. Sir Dinesh, hey, what's up, Sir Dinesh? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Some kid offered me JSN and TEP for HA and AJ Brown and fancy PPR redraft. I already have JT and K9. So he offered you JSN and TEP for A-Chain and AJ Brown. I wouldn't do that. No, I'd much rather have AJ Brown and A-Chain. I would say no to that for me personally. Because I think like I get JSN as a higher end asset than either of your guys, but I think you're losing too much value going down from like A-Chain or AJ Brown down to Tet. I like Tet too in full PPR, but like I think you're losing too much value going down to him from those guys. I think you have like 2 very high end assets and he's giving you like 1 a little bit tier above, but I don't think it's enough to give up your like 2 top tier guys. All right, we're definitely going Patty Fryermuth for a third tight end. Classic move with Aaron Rodgers on the team. Shout out Meg, shout out Fanspeak. I do kind of like Jalen Noel. I also like Malachi Fields a little bit. I mean, I already have Neighbors and Scatabo. I don't have any stacks like receiving wise with Stroud. I just have David Montgomery. So let's get Noel here. Let's add him. I know they signed some rando receivers, but I'm not really too worried about that. I think I still feel like Noel is the best bet on this offense if you're going to bet on someone super late. I'm not a big Xavier Hutchinson believer either. I know he probably has the like best shot to win the other outside job. Oh, I forgot about Tank Dell too. I don't pick any Tank Dell. I think Tank Dell is like cooked. I have 1 share in BBM, it looks like. Yeah, I don't know. Tank Dell, like he kind of didn't really have the juice in his second year. He really had it for like a very short stretch as a rookie. And he didn't really have it his second year. Then he gets another major injury, doesn't play for a full year. They're already talking about like he might not be ready to go even at the start of the year. He had maybe like, I don't know if it was a setback or he's just still not full go. It's been a little bit murky with his injury stuff. He's just not really a guy I feel like I want to bet on. I would rather bet on Jalen Noel if I'm going to bet on a Texan. And I think it makes sense on this build with CJ Stroud and only Monty as my other stack. We got Lippy 4508. What's up, Lippy? Should I give up Jettis for Dowdle and Gainwell? No, no. I mean, I have a Monra. No, definitely. Oh, Dynasty? No, no shot. No, no shot. No shot. Justin Jefferson's worth like 10 Rico Dowdle and Kenny Gainwells. I mean, because those guys are like, well, how old is Kenny Gainwell? That's a good question, actually. Show drafted. Kenny Gainwell is 27. Okay, that's what I thought. And then who else do you say? Rico's also like 27, right? Rico is 28, and then Jefferson's like 27 or so. Jefferson's 27. Yeah, like yeah, no way, because those aren't even like very high-end running backs. I mean, they're like okay running backs, but I would say both their roles are relatively fragile. I mean, Rico's only on a 1-year deal, I think, maybe a 2-year deal. But either way, he's not a very high-paid running back, and he's already 28. Gainwell's 27. I mean, Jefferson's 27, sure, but like receivers last multiple years longer than running backs. And just like the talent level, I mean, Rico and Gainwell, I believe in Rico over Jalen Warren personally, but there's a chance that Rico Dowdle is not the main starter in that backfield, that it's Jalen Warren over him. And I believe that it's Bucky over Kenneth Gainwell. And I mean, that would also be kind of how the drafts go. I know I picked Kenneth Gainwell in this one, but he was a good value. But yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't do that. No, no way. Yeah, you have Amon-Ra, H. and Kyron. Yeah, so you have good running backs too. If you were like ultra desperate, maybe there's some way to kind of make it work, but you're not even that desperate. I think in a 10-man dynasty, I think too, you should think of it like you almost always want to make your starting lineup better. It's not as much about depth. I want to see this guy's team after the draft too. He has 8 running backs. That intrigues me. We definitely need a receiver here. I could grab that Xavier Hutchinson guy. I could grab Chris Bell. I heard Chris Bell was practicing. Oh, he grabbed Chris Bell from me, that bastard. Okay, what do I pick? This isn't good. This isn't good. I mean, Rashad Bateman coming off the aggravated assault. Darnell Mooney apparently getting calls about trades. We'll go Mooney. There have allegedly been teams calling about trading for Darnell Mooney. We'll pick him there. You know, there's a chance maybe he gets moved to a team that's going to use him a little bit better. It's also a pretty open depth chart. I feel like I have more belief in Malachi Fields than I do in Mooney. But Mooney's a fine 18, like very last pick of the draft flyer. I would probably lean Bateman. I was thinking about it, but Bateman is just coming off the news that he like had some issues with his baby mama. Like, you know, apparently was trying to like, I don't know. He was assaulting her car, but you know, I saw one report said like when she was talking to police, she had like glass on her face. And I'm like, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't feel very good for a player who's never been all that good anyways. We can pass on Bateman. Xavier Hutchinson, I don't really believe in Xavier Hutchinson. I don't think he's real and he can't hurt me. I know he was getting the other outside reps with Higgins gone. I don't know. Do you guys got any shouts? I'd be interested to hear if you guys do, because for me, it would have probably been like Hutchinson, Bateman, Cooper Kupp's okay because Torrey Horton and Jake Bobo both just got hurt, which I mean is probably a little helpful for Cooper Kupp. Tyquan would have actually been fine for a first share. Troy Franklin's okay. Yeah, like these 5 guys are probably like the other 5 I was considering, but I don't know if I really even feel like I don't feel very much conviction in any of them. Maybe Cooper Kupp would have been the right call. I did just see today like Torrey Horton and Jake Bobo are both like pretty seriously hurt, it sounds like. Or Jake Bobo, I think, is season-ending IR. And then Torrey Horton, I saw something like he might miss multiple weeks to start the year. So maybe one of these guys, like Cooper Kupp, would have been decent, or like Hutchinson getting that role. The thing with Hutchinson, I don't really believe in him much, is they brought in like a bunch of receivers for workout and signed some, and maybe they're kind of more like replacement level receivers, but I think Hutchinson is too. Bateman's been getting the most positive news and hype, but then he just had that negative stuff for like legal. So a little bit of a tough spot. I decided to go with Mooney, where like if he stays on the Giants, he's stacked and maybe he can get a role. You know, they have a pretty weak receiver room behind Neighbors. and then maybe he gets traded to a team that wants to use him in a better role. So I figure with him, I at least got like 2 outs that kind of make sense. So figured I'd go with him there. Um, but all right, so let's run through this team quick, and then let's hop into another one. So we did 3-5-7-3, you know, the classic safety build. As I do, I mean, this is my most common build. I think I look 3-5-7-3 is about like 45% of my builds or something like that. Almost half my builds are 3-5-7-3s. I think it does generally work out to be the best structure, especially for first round advancement, which, you know, the more bullets you get into the playoffs, the better, in my opinion. But I can see the merit to some other builds. But this is my personal favorite build style: 3-5-7-3. We went Jackson Dart, CJ Stroud, Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a pretty solid quarterback room. You know, Rodgers needs to cover week 8, but assuming he can cover that decently, I think it feels pretty good. You know, I have a guy with high upside, maybe a little bit of risk for the injuries and stuff, but high upside and a high floor with Jackson Dart. Maybe a little bit of upside from CJ Stroud if the Texans can be a little bit better, but, you know, just a solid weekly starter from him. And then same thing with Rodgers, just a guy I know is not getting benched, solid weekly starter. Have Rodgers stacked up with one of my better receivers. Then we went Gibbs, Montgomery, Cam Scatterbo, J.K. Dobbins, Kenny Gainwell. I would say this is a very strong running back room. Like, you know, Dobbins as like Scatterbo as the 3, Monty as the 2. That's pretty strong as is. And then Dobbins as the 4, Gainwell as the 5. I think is very strong for 4 and 5. So I think it's a very strong running back room. And then at receiver, I went Neighbors, Pickens, Jaden Reed, DK Metcalf, Romeo Dobbs, Jalen Noel, Darnell Mooney. I think the receiver room is okay overall. You know, it's like I have my 2 elite talents. Basically, if Neighbors is healthy, which I picked him at 24, you know, he kind of has to be for the pick slot, right? But if he's healthy and Pickens is, I mean, Pickens should be fine. I'm not actually that worried about Pickens, especially early. Um, so you know, these top 2, if Neighbors is healthy, should be really strong for my top 2. And then I think I'm fine with Reed, Metcalf, and Dobbs. I think Reed kind of gives me that little bit less consistent, like spike week upside. DK is maybe a little less consistent too. He should be more consistent than Reed, but like he's also a little bit of a spike guy. But then hopefully Dobbs is kind of giving me the consistent like floor pick with my wide receiver 5. Then we just took some late swings with Nolan Mooney. I think this is an okay receiver room overall. I think it's perfectly reasonable. And then at tight end, we have Andrews, Hunter Henry, Pat Fryermuth. Kind of same thing at tight end, where like I went later. Obviously, I pushed tight end very far, but I got some nice values, which is good on Andrews and Henry. So that feels nice there. Got like a full round on both of them, basically. I think this tight end room feels like totally serviceable. I don't really feel too weak from this. Like I feel like I have good touchdown upside from both Andrews and Henry. You know, Fryermuth should have decent touchdown upside on the Steelers, but I just feel like I got 2 pieces and really nice offenses who like you could argue Raritan is real competition for Henry, but or like Hibner's competition for Andrews, but it's really just like day 2, day 3 rookies are the only real competition to these guys. And other than that, you know, I mean, Andrews loses likely and he goes like cheaper than ever. So I just think that I think the tight end room feels pretty good, and I do like buying Andrews on the dip for sure. Overall, I think the team feels pretty solid. You know, running backs obviously the big strength of it, and I do think I'm going to be building more like this. To be honest, maybe I will try to push the 4th a little, but I got a great value on Gainwell, so I'm not going to pass that up. So you know, maybe I could try to push the 5th running back a little bit more, even if I do want to go a little bit more robust early. But I will probably be trying to mix in more robust running back builds. I really feel like it dries up late. I really hate picking running backs late right now. Um, so yeah, I think this is the style though that I'm going to be building quite a bit, and I think this team feels pretty solid overall. You know, maybe I could have put a little less at running back with that 5th, like I was saying, but I think it feels totally solid. I don't feel overly weak in any of these rooms. I feel like I have some nice strengths with the running back room, especially. So yeah, feels pretty decent actually. Like that build. Um, all right, let's catch up on the comments real quick, and then we'll hop into another one. I'd consider it if they threw in a 2027 first with it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the value difference on that was pretty huge. Yeah, like it's definitely Jefferson. Maybe if there was a first round pick involved, maybe. Uh, Even then, it's tough for me because like Rico and Gainwell as dynasty assets, I really don't have much confidence in them. Like I like Rico a lot this year, like I said, but as dynasty assets, I just don't have a ton of confidence. And he had good starting running backs too. But But yeah, maybe if it was a first or something too. But all right. All right. So we got through that one. I think that was a pretty solid team. Felt pretty good with it. Let's hop into another best ball mania. I'm gonna count it down. We're gonna get in the best ball mania in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Oh, we're waiting on 11. So if anyone wants to hop in, hopefully no one got rug pulled, but if anyone wants to hop in, go for it. We might have a little bit of a friends and family lobby. Depends how many of you guys are ripping BBMs. But hey, I got a decent build in the last one, so I can get one that's a little bit worse than this one. But yeah, no, that felt good. I feel like I got a lot of the guys that I'm targeting more, a lot of the guys I want to get more of. So I think that feels pretty good. Let's real quick while we're waiting, let's actually look at my best ball mania exposures really quick. I more just want to see them myself personally. But let's look at those really quick and we can see my overall exposures too. They're very flat. I'm a little disappointed with my very flat exposures, to be honest. I feel like Kyle Pitts did irreparable damage to me as a drafter, where like he wasn't that good, and then he just absolutely smoked me week 15 so hard that I can't bring myself to fade people anymore. So it's definitely painful in that sense. But we got a couple stands in here. We got some later tight ends. We got Rodgers. We got Diggs. Diggs was just cheap though. Katron not looking the best, but it's all right. Ken Walker's my biggest stand, second round pick that I have over double the field. So that's probably my biggest overall stand. Let's look at Best Ball Mania specifically. I kind of want to see that. So Best Ball Mania, my highest owned player is Michael Pittman with 16 shares of him. Katron's next. That makes sense. Diggs is next. That makes sense to me. Like I said, Diggs when he was going cheaper, I was picking a ton of Diggs. Even now, I think he's an okay price, but I'm not picking quite as much. Romeo Dobbs, I have a ton of. Rodgers, obviously, Schultz, Drake May, which kind of makes sense with the Dobbs. I pick a lot. I guess I pick a lot of Drake May and BBM, which I'm cool. Drake May is one of my favorite quarterbacks. I think he's a great pick where he goes. I think there's a lot of good quarterback picks in that range, but Drake May does feel pretty great. Oh, looks like okay, looks like the draft started. We looked at a couple of them. We got pick number 2. Unfortunate. For some reason it's not loading. That's fine. It's gonna give us Bijan or Gibbs, so I don't really care. Okay, yeah, Bijan's fine. Yeah, no, we'll keep taking Bijan. I don't want to switch up my style yet. I don't want to pull up Chase yet. I do still think Bijan's a better pick than him, even if I do have maybe some questions about the Falcons offense. I think just Bijan's overall like receiving and rushing upside. I mean, I don't know, no Algier there. Bijan was already one of the best receiving backs in the NFL last year. Now you get to check down Merchant, Tua Tagovailoa as his quarterback. Hopefully Tua can not throw it in the dirt and he can actually get it to Bijan, but I still feel like I want to take Bijan over Chase. Like I was saying though, I would consider it, especially as I get a little bit further into my BBMs. I will consider Chase over Bijan, but for right now it's still Bijan at 2 for me. We're gonna keep sticking with it. Hope that the variance works out. I got the 1, I got the 2. Maybe if I do another, I'll get the 3. And then I can even out all my exposures to those top guys. McNicks, Justin Jefferson for Gainwell and Dowdle. I don't know if I trade Jamar Jefferson for those two. Shout out Jamar Jefferson, the Minnesota legend, right? I think that's where he went to college. I might be getting it wrong. I don't know. That might have been Jawar Jordan or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't even know if I would trade Jamar Jefferson for those two either. That's a great comment, McNicks. McNicks always bringing the comedy. I always appreciate it. But no, that's a fair point. Yeah, it's just not a close trade with Justin Jefferson for those two. And we got a couple friends and family in this draft with us. So I'm at the 2, obviously. We got Digger at the 3. We got Amp Phil at the 8, first on fantasy. We got Kale Elliott at the 9. Killer Kazoo, are you in the chat? Let me know. At the 10. I know Killer Kazoo is a little bit more of a lurker usually, but yeah, it looks like we got a couple friends and family. Hey, and if I didn't mention your name, if you're in here, let me know. I feel like Libra might be in the chat. I'm not sure. I feel like that's a name I kind of know, but I can't remember if that's just like, it's so hard. I draft a good chunk. So, some of these names, it's just like, I remember them from being in the lobbies with them a ton. But then some of the names, obviously, I know are like, oh, people in like chats and stuff quite a bit. Um, but yeah, so yeah, always nice to see those some friends and family in here. Damn, this guy got McCaffrey at 12. And he takes what it I love the king. I love King Henry, but it's like if you get McCaffrey at 12, like I always feel like when I get a faller like that, I just take the ADP value because it's like McCaffrey and Henry is probably a pretty normal combo, right? So like if I ever get a faller like McCaffrey, I feel like it almost always forces me. Like I would have insta clicked like Saquon or Ken Walker or something because those are the top two by ADP. But I don't I like Henry McCaffrey is a sick combo. Don't get me wrong, but like for me, if I ever get a follower like McCaffrey at 12, I'm always picking top ADP guy after that. Um, to pair with the faller, that's just I don't know. That's just kind of me, especially in this range where like I like Barkley and Walker are probably my favorites anyways. So it's like I don't ever really mind getting more of them. Um, let's get who do I not have comboed? I have all these guys comboed. Let's get more Nico then. Um, Yeah, let's get more Nico. I'm not super into Drake London. Like I said, Tua's been throwing it in the dirt. Tua's kind of looking like shit. Let's go away from Drake London. We're either gonna go Olave or Pickens with our next pick. I think I mean like if he took Pickens and Olave, if he takes Pickens Olave, I might we can still avoid Drake London. I don't have Chris Olave paired up with Nico Collins at all. Oh, let's do that for sure. And that's a game stack too with my Atlanta, so that feels good as well. But I love Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave's especially with the Jordan Tyson injury, I think he's a fantastic pick. I think we saw him break out last year, obviously, but we especially saw him go crazy in the second half of the year when Shuck took over. I believe in Shuck. I believe in the Kellen Moore system. They're always one of the highest pace of play. They're always going to be a high flying, like very pass heavy offense. Kellen Moore put that belief in Shuck. He really let him kind of rip it last year. Shuck didn't get a ton of touchdowns, but he had a lot of high yardage games. I think Olave just feels great in that system. Second year with the same quarterback and not switching quarterbacks halfway through the year. Like he had Rattler for almost half the year and he still had a breakout season. He still absolutely crushed. I think with Shuck there for another season, Olave can just really crush. And then with the Jordan Tyson injury, I think Jordan Tyson was the biggest concern for Olave because I do think Jordan Tyson's like a really elite talent. I really am a big Jordan Tyson believer. Like I had a ton of him in pre-draft. Luckily, I didn't get too much in post-draft. I was actually only at like 6 or 7%. So that was actually kind of lucky because in pre-draft I had like 13, 14%. Um, but like I think Jordan Tyson's elite or an elite level talent at least. So he was worrying me maybe a little bit for Olave, but with him dealing with the injury, I think it's like wheels up for Olave. And we obviously see Olave move closer to the 2-3 turn as a result of it. But Olave just feels like a fantastic pick to me. I think you could even argue Olave over some of these second round guys after what he showed us last year. Yeah, so he just feels he feels great to me. I love the Olave pick right there. Yeah, no, this lobby, it's definitely gonna be a little bit harder. I see the running backs getting ripped off. Earlier, I did a BBM earlier. I got Josh Jacobs back at 48. In this lobby, we see him go at 37. This lobby's sharp. They're pulling up running backs. We see Travis Etienne going the third round, like back in the old days. Kind of intriguing there. I'm not a huge Travis Etienne fan personally. I think he's okay, but I don't know. He's never really been the best running back, and he has a good role. Obviously, Kamara's hurt, which is nice for him, and I do like the Saints offense, but I feel like Kellen Moore is just very pass heavy in the red zone. I think like I don't know, Travis Etienne, he's just always been like an okay running back, but he's just not special at anything. He's not really elite. He's just okay. And I don't know, Kellen Moore doesn't throw a lot to his running backs, but he does throw a lot in general. He throws a lot in the red zone. It just makes me feel like Travis Etienne, like when he fell into the fourth, I felt like that was closer to fair price, but I still don't know if I could take him over like Cam Scatterbo. Like Cam Scatterbo is just so much better than him is the problem. Okay, Loveland or Scatterbo would be or Luther. Actually, I'm gonna pick Luther if he's there. Digger's up. Don't take Luther from me, please. I mean, you can if you want. If you want Luther, take him. Take your guy. Get your guy. All right, he goes Scatterbo. That's a little unfortunate for me, but and not really because I mean I'm gonna go Luther, and then I think I'm gonna take Bucky after actually. I want to get more Bucky, but I want to get more Luther Burden. I'm a Luther truther. I wasn't early. I wasn't early on, and I really regret it. I want to be a Luther truther. I know he only did it in a small sample, and people want to say it's not sustainable, blah, blah, blah. But Luther Burden is going to be the breakout star for the Bears. Ben Johnson told us so himself. I should have bought more early. Colston Loveland's a decent pick as well. Colston Loveland's a pretty good value right there. Ooh. I think we're gonna go Bucky. I'm gonna stick to my guns about what I said about the structure. I want to lock in these running backs. Colston Loveland is an absolute dog, but I'm already buying into Luther. I think one of the mistakes on the Bears, I don't know if they're really an offense that I want to onslaught completely. I think I might want to just kind of like pick my piece for them, especially with them being, they're a cold weather team. Obviously, it might be a little bit harder for them to pass later in the season. Caleb's not the most proven passer, obviously. So I think I just want to kind of make my flag play on Luther in this draft. And then I really want to get that second running back going because I'm not generally a fan of the running backs at the 6-7 turn. So I'd like to get Bucky. That kind of insulates me from having to pick a running back right there. So I think that feels like the right move. Loveland definitely would have been a good pick as well, though. That was a little bit of a tough call, but I think I want to get the running backs, like I said, and I want to get more Bucky. I'm been a Bucky believer. I've shaken a little bit because the Kenneth Gainwell truthers got to me a little bit. They made me scared about Bucky, but I always just come back to the thought of like, man, Kenneth Gainwell is Kenneth Gainwell, and Jalen Warren makes every single backfield mate he's ever played with a household name. And Kenneth Gainwell's a good receiver. Don't get me wrong. He's not like a bum, but Bucky Irving's elite. I really think Bucky Irving's just a truly elite talent. And I really think I want more of him. Like, even as a receiver, Bucky Irving was like top 10 in every receiving metric before he got hurt last year. And even as a rookie, he was a good receiver. Like, his yards per route run's fantastic. And I don't know. I just really am a Bucky believer, and I really think he could be a guy you need and just be a great value at this pick. I'm just kind of really buying into Bucky. Ooh, that was a really nice value on Egbuka. I'm not a big Egbuka guy, but 44 is a nice pick for him. Terry McLaurin at 54, kind of crazy to me. Mike Evans at 56, kind of crazy to me. Holy shit. Mike Evans at 56 is insane to me. That's a great value. First on fantasy and Phil. That's a great value. Cause like I don't know. I know Mike Evans is dealing with the like hamstring tightness or whatever, but I mean, is this dude not gonna put up like 12 touchdowns on the Niners if he's healthy? I guess there's the if he's healthy, but I mean, like the Niners are just such a great offense, and Kyle Shanahan's scheming them open. I think Mike Evans is gonna crush there. Haven't gotten the start in BBM yet. Dang, feels good so far. I think you're cooking. Let's see what you got. Amon-Ra, Hampton, Jeremiah Love, decent value on Jeremiah Love too. Pat McMillan at a fair price. Mike Evans at the great price. Price at a pretty good price. Yeah, I think that's really solid first down fantasy. I really like it. I really love the Mike Evans pick. I mean, the first four, you kind of can't go wrong with those ones at those spots. Jeremiah Love was even a decent price too, though. But I like all four of these guys. But yeah, Mike Evans, I mean, getting him at 56, that feels super nice. I rarely see him fall into the 5th round like that far. So that feels pretty good. Jalen Warren. Do I want to get some Jalen Warren? Do I want to capitulate to big Jalen Warren? Probably not. But let's see what Digger took my Caleb. I knew he might. That's fine though. Okay, what do I want here? Jonathan Brooks. Do I want to buy the Toporino on Jonathan Brooks? He did get a preseason touchdown. Okay. We were going to switch it to Jalen Warren last second. I was really thinking about it, but I think we'll buy the Toporino on Jonathan Brooks. I will say I'm kind of a Brooks guy. I had a lot of them pre-draft and stuff like that, but like around this pick, it does feel a little bit sketchy. This is a very tough spot for me, the 6-7 turn. I have a really hard time here just deciding what to do in general. Jalen Hurts is not a bad pick on Stacked. Jalen Hurts is not bad on Stacked. I really don't mind that. And do I like any quarterbacks coming back in the next range? I don't think so. I think let's go Jalen Hurts. I think the Jalen Hurts pick feels good because I think it feels good. I think Hurts is just a good value. He's the end of that tier. You could maybe argue Justin Herbert is in his tier as well. But I do think Jalen Hurts is probably the end of a tier. I think he's getting a little bit undervalued because they had such a bad year as a team last year. I don't mind him on stack there. Who had Devonta Smith, by the way? Libra, don't know who that is, so we're good. And he had Jaden, so he's probably fine. But yeah, I think Jalen Hurts there feels pretty good. Like his price feels good in general. And that's just the spot where I don't love a lot of the picks. I was thinking about capitulating to big Jalen Warren, but Digger read me like he read me like a damn book. He knew I wasn't going to take Jalen Warren. I would have taken Caleb. So he pushed Jalen Warren around me like a pro. I'm fortunate for me. But no, I think Jalen Hurts is a good price. I think my other main considerations were like DK again. I don't know if I really want to go like super crazy on my DK exposure. I think he's a totally good price, but I already had like 12%. I don't know if I really want more. I was thinking about pulling up Jaden Reed again since I did have so little of him, but I don't know. I feel like I just like Jalen Hurts better as a pick for my team than those guys when I already have a decent core at running back and receiver. I was 0-3-3-0 with I had Bijan, Nico, Chris Olave, Luther Burden, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Brooks. So I went Jalen Hurts over the fourth running back or receiver. I think one of these receivers like DK or Reed would have been a decent pick. A fourth running back would have been kind of interesting, but I do think I probably didn't need a fourth running back there. So I like the Jalen Hurts pick. I think that was the best pick for me to make. I do think he's a good value. Mike Rob Hartman, the grinder of all grinders. Hey, appreciate it, Mike Rob. I don't know if I would say that. We do grind these draft streets, I guess. So I appreciate that, Mike Rob. Appreciate it. And we're gonna be grinding even harder later tonight. Me and Candyman. It's down in the description. Me and Candyman doing the FFPC high stakes draft later. The 350 entry, Big Gorilla. So we're gonna be doing that on his channel at 7:30. We're gonna start. So definitely check that out. But hey, what's up, Mike Rob? Thanks for stopping by, bro. BB Meat Gazer, what's up, Hartman? Hope you're having a good weekend. Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Meat Gazer. Hope you're having a good weekend as well. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it. But yeah, hope you guys are all having a good weekend as well. We're doing pretty good. Actually, I just started watching. I was binge watching this show earlier today. It's called Banshee. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a pretty fire show. It came out like 10 years ago or something. I mean, I'm late to the party for sure. Don't get me wrong. But it's I've been enjoying it. It has Homelander. Homelander is the main guy. What's his name? Anthony Starr, I think is his real name. But he's the main guy in it. RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey. I don't have hardly any. Let's do it. Let's get some RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey, fun fact, was my highest owned player in pre-draft last year. I had over 30% RJ Harvey. I absolutely loved him coming out of college. I couldn't get enough. I was watching his highlight tapes every day. And this year I've been super low on him. I know Jonah Coleman's looking good. Harvey looked pretty good too. He caught a wheel route touchdown. I have hardly any. It was a little fall on him. I think we can do that there. And then let's go again. Let's end running back. Let's just end running back early, super early this time. I want even heavier capital. So I'm picking top tier running backs and I'm still finishing running back by round 9. You could argue about the validity of this strategy, but let's see how it ends. Let's see where I get at the end. Can I recover at receiver? Luckily, I have 3 receivers I have pretty high confidence in. So I think I can make it out okay. I have an elite quarterback, so my other 2 can be kind of weak behind them. I'm obviously going late tight end. Late tight end's like my favorite build, basically. So I think we can maybe build out of it. The Harvey pick was possibly a mistake. I was just kind of like seeing the 1%. That's the problem with drafting on computer. I'm usually a phone guy, but I see those 1% and they get me nervous, right? Harvey smashed on the stretch without Dobbins last year. Jonah Coleman's looking good too, though. But I don't know. Maybe I should have let Harvey fall. That might have been a mistake by me. I should have maybe let Harvey fall and picked like Michael Pittman instead. And then I could have just got like Ja'Cory or Jordan Mason, because I was thinking about Jordan Mason there too. I could have got one of them too. So maybe a little bit of a mistake on my part to double tap right there. I do like this next receiver range quite a bit, and I don't really love the running backs after that range. So we're going to see how it plays out. You know, it kind of depends what comes back to me. So far, no receivers going this round, right? A lot of people are going to be getting those kind of last call running backs. There's some good tight ends in this range, some good quarterbacks in this range. So if I get some decent receivers back, then I think it plays out for me pretty well. If not, then maybe I messed up a little with the Harvey pick, especially since I don't really have a ton of conviction in him. But I do see the upside on the Broncos offense, right? If you can get the primary like rusher and like if he's getting the most receiving work, if you can get the guy getting the most work in that Broncos backfield, you're feeling good. They're one of the highest expected fantasy points backfields in the NFL. I believe last year they were number one, and pretty high play rate in Denver as well. Really good O line. So I definitely want pieces of that offense or that running back room in general. Um, Killer Kazoo, hey Artman, hope all is well. Hey, what's up, Killer Kazoo? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it. We got Killer Kazoo in the draft too. Good to see it. And we'll definitely check out your guys' teams at the end of this. I think I'm just gonna do. I might do another draft after this. We'll see how much time we got. I want to get off for a little bit before I go on with Candyman with Fantasy Football Garage later. Because I'm just gonna eat some dinner and stuff quick because when we're gonna do that FFPC like the high stakes draft later, and it's like those take like I don't know, maybe like 2.5 hours or something. Those take quite a while because they have like full 1 minute pick clocks and then yeah, 1 minute pick clock. So that just adds up, right? And I think they're 20 rounds. I believe they're 20 rounds because you need like kicker and defense and shit too. So they're pretty long. So I want to get off, get some dinner and stuff at like maybe after this one. I might do one more. We'll see how much time we got left. But all right, hey, looks like it's coming back to me perfect. I won't reveal who I want too much yet. We'll see what Digger does. Digger's right before me. He knows my thoughts. I can't say too much. I'm scrolled down right now just so we don't even see my exposures right now. Um, but I got one guy in mind quite a bit over the rest. It wasn't Jordan Tyson. I don't think that's cheap enough for Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson needs to fall into like the 140s before I even consider him. Motherfucker. Sorry about that. Sorry about the cursing. Digger absolutely sniping me crazy style, taking Casey Conception right in front of me. Let's take this bum Matthew Golden. I heard that he's playing all the 2 wide receiver sets and he is a burner. He was a first round pick. He did absolutely suck last year, but maybe he can bounce back and be something this year. Ooh, Dalton Kincaid. I love me some Dalton Kincaid, but I feel like I should probably catch up at receiver more. Dobbs is a great pick. Kincaid's also a great pick. It's more important to catch up at receiver than it is to get the tight end. And I do have a lot of Kincaid already. I can push tight end more. I feel a lot more comfortable with that. I feel like I needed to kind of double tap receiver there. Golden, not my favorite. Oh, I should have taken Shuck. I actually fucked that. That was bad. That was bad. I should have taken Shuck over Golden. That was a mistake. That was a mistake on my part. That was not my best. It's fine. You know, like that one's one where obviously I don't love it. It's not ideal that I went receiver over Shuck probably with Olave and with the Atlanta game. I would have preferred Shuck. I should have just picked him. That was a mistake. I was looking too much at receiver. I didn't even notice him. Um that was a mistake. I think it's fine because I can still hopefully get CJ Stroud if in like especially right now with Jaden Higgins being gone. I feel like it's going to be even easier for the Nico team to get Stroud than ever. So hopefully I can get him back. If not, I just go unstacked, which is also fine. I'm not really like if I have to get an unstacked quarterback, I'm not really going to stress about it. I mean, I have Jalen Hurts unstacked, obviously, but if CJ Stroud goes and I don't have any good stacks left, I'm just gonna take on stack guys. It's not like, it's not really too much of a concern because I feel totally fine with like Daniel Jones is good, like in that same tier, right? Like I think CJ Stroud and Daniel Jones are pretty similar. I think Cam Ward, I'm feeling a little bit less good on right now. Sam Darnold, I'm kind of a Sam Darnold hater, but like he's a safe pick. He's totally fine. I kind of hate on him, but he's safe. He actually goes right there, which that's fine. He's in that next tier. I think he's the next QB up, so that makes sense. Um, nice thumbnail background, Grandpa. Hey, appreciate it, money. Anything, appreciate it. I don't even remember what the background is. Is it not modern? Is it an old one? Is it an old draft board on the thumbnail? I thought it was a new one probably. I just made it today, but I could have been using the old like template. I don't even know. I don't really honestly like well my two streams before this, I didn't even set a thumbnail. I was doing the BBG style. Because they said thumbnails don't matter, and it was kind of true. They had those videos had like the same like it had like similar views and similar like all the stats as my other videos. So like I don't know how important the thumbnail really is, to be honest with you, Jeff. Not let it fly, bro. They deserve it. Never feels good to get sniped. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, it doesn't. I mean, he didn't know I wanted KC. It's not like I had a stack or anything, but KC conception, I have 10%. I definitely want to get more of them. I'm a big believer that he's looking like the best receiver in their camp. Ooh, Juwan's pretty sick. Okay, this guy. What does this guy have? He has Dak and Goff. Juwan's a good pick. Juwan's a really good pick. Okay, let's just push it. Let's get Stroud. We're gonna get Stroud with my Nico. I have that game stacked even with Golden. So I really kind of want to lock that up if I can. That's nice. Do I want Daniel Jones or Juwan though? Hopefully he just decides for me. Hopefully he can just help me out and take one of them, and then the decision will be made. He doesn't. Okay, who's gonna come back at tight end? Dalton Schultz probably won't. One of you guys will snipe him, and that'd be a faller on him. He's not falling right now. Tight end's gonna get pretty barren. I don't have anything with Daniel Jones. Let's get more Juwan. Juwan's a huge riser right now, obviously with Jordan Tyson hurt. I think Juwan is just a great pick where he goes. I mean, one of the best stats to look at for future production at a tight end or receiver is how many yards did they get last year. Juwan had 102 targets, 77 catches, almost 900 yards, 889 yards. He only had 3 touchdowns, but if he could bump up those touchdowns just a little and even get close to that yardage total, then he's an absolute smash going this late. So I feel really good with Juwan Johnson. He's one of my favorite tight ends to click, especially with the Jordan Tyson injury. And as my first tight end, I actually feel really good with him as my first tight end. Even more unfortunate that I passed on Shuck now that I have a double stack. So not my best work in that sense, but we did get Stroud stacked up. We have a high-end elite guy with Jalen Hurts with big rushing upside up top. So I think that feels pretty good overall. I'm not like super. I think like that still feels fine at quarterback. It just was a mistake of me to pass on Shuck. But it did help shore up my receiver room. It did make it so that I could go away from receiver on this turn pretty easily. So that feels nice in that sense. And getting Stroud with Nico still feels good. We got Stroud with my top receiver. That still feels totally fine to me. Shuck would have been a little better, but yeah, I don't mind Stroud. And we got Stroud at a decent price too, stacked up as top guy. Way to pass on Shuck for Golden old man. Yeah, no, that was a mistake. Oh, am I an old man because of the hat? Is that what it is? Maybe that's what it is. This is like a hat like my grandpa would wear. That's fair. But wait, yeah, no, that was a mistake, bro. Matthew Golden sucks too. It was such a good price on Matthew Golden. See, this is why I'm really just like a flat exposure, bro. And it's really sad. It's really sad to see. But Matthew Golden, as you can see, I got him 17 picks past ADP, and I'm just a little like ADP, merchant at the end of the day. It's sad to see. I really don't think Matthew Golden is that good, but I really do think the Packers are going to try to play him in their 2 wide receiver sets over Jaden Reed. I think Jaden Reed is so much better than Matthew Golden, but if they don't play him in 2 wide receiver sets, then it's like, yeah, if they play Golden in all their 2 wide receiver sets, then it's like it is what it is. He's just a good pick. And I personally think there's a chance he plays himself out of that role halfway through the year just by being so terrible. But they keep saying that they're going to play him in 2 wide receiver sets. All the reports are they're playing him in 2 wide receiver sets. At some point, I guess I gotta just believe it, right? And if he's gonna be given to me at a huge value when I have 1 share in BBM, I might as well get a second share at this point when he's that cheap, I guess. And I had the week 17 stack too, which is, nice in that sense. Um, that's a nice little fall on Cam Ward. Third quarterback. I could use a third quarterback on this team. Bryce Young would also be decent. Let's get some AD Mitchell. Yeah, let's get AD Mitchell. I just like kind of the upside, on him. Just like they've been talking him up. They've been saying he's going to start in 2 wide receiver sets. All the preseason stuff's looking pretty good for him. Okay, that guy didn't take either quarterback. It's a bigger fall. It's a bigger fall on Cam Ward, but I also have more of them. I think Bryce Young, Cam Ward's pretty similar. Either bye week works. Do I want Bryce Young or not? I'm just gonna do this because it's okay, we got Bryce Young with Jonathan Brooks, which is kind of why I was debating it too. I didn't have anything with Cam Ward. I didn't even have any Pittsburgh, so I was debating if I wanted Bryce Young with Brooks. I like the Cam Ward fall. He goes right after me, but I don't know. I didn't have any Tennessee at all either. I had a little bit of Carolina. I feel like it probably makes more sense to go with the Bryce Young, but that was a spot where I'm just kind of getting the third quarterback where it's like maybe they fill in the bye weeks, maybe they fill in if an injury happens. I'm pretty 3 QB pilled for advance rate purposes. I think they really do help you in that first round advance. And like I said earlier, I want as many bullets as possible into the playoffs. Should I have looked at tight end there? I mean, Hawkinson's fine. I think I'd rather just double up on these late guys since I have like a Juwan up top and I do like him as my number 1 even. I think I'd rather just double up on the late guys. Like AD Mitchell, I don't know. He's okay. Like I liked AD Mitchell coming out, and I do think AD Mitchell is a good separator. He's kind of had problems with as far as like tracking the ball and actually like making an impact on the field, but he does get open, and I don't know, he does get open, and apparently, he's got his act together a little bit this year. We'll see how true that is. I feel like the narratives like that don't tend to pay off too much, but I think as cheap as he goes, and with all the talk of him being the other starting outside receiver next to Garrett Wilson, it's a worthwhile bet. They've been just hyping him up in camp consistently. AD Mitchell is the kind of player who would be a guy that gets hyped up in camp, though. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to over index on it or anything, but I will take a little bit of AD Mitchell. Cooper went right before me. I was saying, maybe I target Cooper a little more, but if he's going before AD Mitchell with Mitchell getting the good reports, we'll get some Mitchell. I would have picked Wicks there too. I like Wicks quite a bit. I would have picked him over Mitchell, but he went before me as well. Trey Harris, I think, was another good pick. He went before me. So, a couple good picks go before me. We get AD Mitchell there. I think that's okay. I think he's a guy I want some exposure to, especially like the way that he hits. It's generally like big plays deep down the field. So I think when he does have an impact, it's meaningful for like best ball. So I think that's always nice with your later receivers. You want them to have like an impact when they actually do hit. Don't do it. No. Juwan? I think that was for Juwan. Brother, I don't think there's any chance Juwan was coming back to you when Hunter Henry and Brenton Strange go. Well, maybe I'm lying. Did this guy have Drake May? No, these guys didn't even have Henry or Strange stacked. There's no way they were gonna let Juwan get back to you. I really don't think so. Maybe though, but I mean, there was no way I was gonna let Juwan get back to you, so it didn't matter. Okay. Ooh-wee. This tight end range is bleak. I mean, okay, do we double tap tight ends or do I want a receiver? These receivers kind of suck. Let's just double tap. We're gonna go Kate Otten, and then hopefully that guy Kai doesn't take Darren Waller. That would be pretty unfortunate, but I want to get the Darren Waller stack. I have 1 share in BBM. Let's make it 2. Why not? I think Darren Waller is actually a pretty reasonable last round pick. I think that, apparently he's in shape. They said he's been working out since the Super Bowl relentlessly. But either way, he had 6 touchdowns last year. He only played 9 games, I believe, still had 6 touchdowns. So, you could argue maybe he was in an offense that schemes their guys up a little bit better. But I mean, Dave Canales is a pretty good schemer as well. Mike McDaniel's a great schemer. Obviously, Waller was on Miami, but they've been treating him like the full-on starter. He hasn't been playing in the preseason really. He's been rested. They're playing JT Sanders in the preseason, so if he's going to be the full-on starting tight end in Carolina, I have it stacked. I don't have any Carolina receivers. Let's just grab him there. I think he makes sense as a third tight end. I think this tight end room is going to be on the weaker side, but especially if Juwan hits like I think he can, then I think it feels like reasonable. It feels fine. And then we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going for a receiver in the last round. Jalen Noel would be okay. Jeremy would be okay, but we'll see what makes it. There's a couple of guys, I kind of mentioned them last draft. I have my eye on late, so we'll just see what makes it, see what I can get in the last round. Chris won't allow you to draft AD Mitchell, so you need to take him now to get your fix. Exactly, money thing. Candyman fucking hates AD Mitchell, which, shout out him. I think that's a respectable take. No, I don't know. I think AD Mitchell too, like, I will say this, I would probably never even suggest him in an FFPC, even if it was a solo FFPC I was doing on my own. I'm not really suggesting AD Mitchell personally. I don't think he's a good managed pick at all. I think that's actually why I kind of like him in best ball, because I kind of like him in best ball just because he is like like I said earlier, he is that guy where he might not hit very often. When he does hit, it's probably in like a big way deep downfield. So I think AD Mitchell just makes way more sense in best ball. I will not be pushing for him in the FFPC draft. Maybe if we're in like the 16th, 17th round, probably not even actually. Yeah, no, I probably won't be. Best ball though, I don't mind taking a shot here and there on him. I know, man, I was messing with you. Oh, okay, got you. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I mean, Juwan Johnstein, he's rapidly moving up the board. I believe he was in the 150s before, and I was just moving way up. Speaking of moving way up, look at Terrence Ferguson up at 156. Is that his ADP these days? Ferguson. So I have 17% Terrence Ferguson in BBM. I have 0% Jake Ferguson in BBM. Terrence Ferguson goes at 163 now. That's, man, it's not crazy because it's a fair range for him to go. It's just crazy compared to where he used to go. It feels kind of crazy to me to take Terrence Ferguson over like Dalton Schultz. Like, I think Dalton Schultz is, I guess like Ferguson has the major upside, maybe that Schultz doesn't, but like, I don't know. I just think Dalton Schultz is such a great price. Maybe though, Ferguson's upside, right? It is an upside game we're playing, so I guess it makes sense he should go in the same range, maybe. But yeah, the price is starting to get a little bit steep. Charlie Kolar in the 17th round. You'd love to see it. Maybe I should have picked him, but I don't think he had anything going with my team. We'd rather go for Darren Waller, my favorite rapper, as as my tight end 3 over Charlie Kolar. I've been picking a little bit of Charlie Kolar though. I'm not against the Kolar Bears even. So let that be known. All right, last pick. We're probably gonna pick either Jeremy or Chad, or Rashad Bateman. Chris Bell. Chris Bell, kind of interesting. Got activated from the Papa the other day, a couple days ago. So, practicing in full apparently pretty soon. Kind of interesting. Obviously plays on a very low pass rate team. He's going to be kind of low owned though. Bateman's also going to be kind of low owned, to be honest with you. Jeremy's probably the best pick. What do I need on this build? What do I need? Let's go with Jeremy. We're going to let it take Jeremy, I think. I feel the best about Jeremy. I know he's allegedly behind Roman Wilson. I don't believe that. I mean, maybe I believe it early season, but like if Jeremy can't watch Roman Wilson, then Jeremy's not the guy that I thought he was. So I'm just hoping he can watch Roman Wilson. I think I feel best with him. Bateman does feel like a decent bet. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna get suspended this year, so maybe I should just be picking more Bateman. Maybe that's the move. He was getting great coach speak and everything. They're moving him all around the formation, putting him in the slot. He got arrested like 2 months ago. It's not like it was a recent thing. So the only concern is they might just be like charging him fully now. So it could cause issues, and he is kind of a fringe pick anyways. So we went with Jeremy. I like the Jeremy pick a little bit more. That feels a little bit safer to me. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the Jeremy pick a little bit more. All right. So what we'll do now, we're gonna check out my team, and then we'll check out the other teams. Do we want to do one more? I'm not sure. We'll figure it out after I'm done reviewing the teams. We'll see what time it is. Like I said, I'm on with Candyman at 7:30. Yeah, because it's gonna take me a little bit to review the teams. I'm on with Candyman at 7:30. I'll probably be done after this one. We'll just look at the teams. But hey, if you guys don't know, definitely check out the description. I got the video with Candyman linked. We're gonna be live in just over an hour. We're gonna be doing high stakes FFPC, $350 entry, the Big Gorilla. So we're gonna be doing that together over on his channel. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen his channel or want to see that video. Definitely will be interesting. We'll be debating some players. We got some real money on the line. Usually I just usually, if I'm doing a BBM with someone or something, I just kind of let them steer the ship. I don't really care that much. Like, it's not that I don't care. I do care about my teams, but it's like I'm willing to just hear their opinions and just kind of let them steer the ship. But with this, we might be battling on some picks. It might be a big debate. So should be a pretty good show. Should be a good time. And we're gonna have to tell the truth, right, on who we actually like and all that in that kind of draft. Can't just let it slide like in a puppy or a BBM or something. But all right, with all that said, let's check out the teams. And just one more time, that's linked in the description. That video I was talking about, linked in the description, starting in about an hour. So definitely check that out if you don't know. But all right, we're gonna go over all the teams, and we'll catch up with anything in chat, and then we'll probably head off for today. And I'll probably be back tomorrow on my channel too. I'll be back probably ripping just a little variety, a couple BBMs, maybe we'll get into some of like maybe the super flex or something that people want to. We'll probably just do like a vote, like a poll vote to see what you guys want to draft. But all right, with all that said, let's look at the teams. So I built a 3-5-7-3. Like I said, this is my most common structure, as always. Maybe what I will do too after I look at these teams, last thing, I'll look at the teams. I promise. I will actually I'm gonna go over to the fantasy VIP side after we look at the teams, and I'll show some of my portfolio, some of my like build combos, stuff like that. If anyone's interested, I know, it depends if you're interested or not, but we'll look at some of that just to end it out. I'll have a few minutes at the end, so we'll do that quick too. But okay, so I built 3-5-7-3. Got Jalen Hurts, Stroud, Bryce Young. I think that's a totally good quarterback room. Pretty similar to how I built the last one, where I have an elite, I have a mid to lower tier with Stroud, and then I have like a really late guy who I feel confident won't get benched with Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young also has pretty underrated rushing upside, so he's just a good pick in general. But feel solid with a quarterback room like this always. Like, as long as I got a top tier guy and then two guys I feel confident will start all year, I always feel really solid with quarterback rooms like this. Then at running back, we went really hard at running back again. We went Bijan, Bucky, Jonathan Brooks, RJ Harvey, Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt. The RJ Harvey one is the one I have the least conviction in. Brooks, I like Brooks. I do think he'll be the lead rusher on that team. The price is a little steep for lead rusher on kind of a bad team, though, right? But Dave Canales' system is usually pretty beneficial for running back. So I don't know. We were in a little bit of a pinch there. That was kind of a decision point. I'm okay with the Brooks pick, but that pick, like, I think that pick feels fine because I really don't like the other picks available in that same range, right? So I think it feels okay there. The Harvey pick, I'm really not a big fan of Harvey. I know Coleman's been getting some positive buzz. So I think in this build, it's definitely like I said, I have one share of Harvey in all my BBMs. This is probably the cheapest Harvey price that he's been at. He might even get a little bit cheaper though with Coleman looking good. But if I'm going to get any exposure to Harvey, I think it should be in a stronger running back room where I don't have to rely on him early, because I think he benefits more from like, if someone gets hurt or something. I think he's going to have a really hard time getting any rushing work. He's going to be kind of more just a gadgety receiving back early. And yeah, I just think he has a better chance to help later in the year, right? So I think it makes sense on a robust team to put Harvey on it. And then Ja'Cory, I've just been trying to get more of. I think Ja'Cory is looking more and more like the lead back in Washington. It's not totally locked in, but he's getting the most like good talk, the most, it's just seeming the most in his favor out of any of the Washington guys. So I would like to get some more Ja'Cory. I like that pick where I got him. The Harvey pick is the only one I was kind of debating, but I do think he fit in, nicely to this room. Pretty strong running back room. Nico Olave, Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs, A.D. Mitchell, Jeremy. And then we went Juwan, Otten, Waller. Tight end is like, it's serviceable. I never really cared too much about punting tight end. Juwan up top makes me feel a lot better about this room. I think it's, it's definitely on the weaker side for tight end. Don't get me wrong, but I don't really ever mind making my tight end room like kind of on the weaker side. It's the lowest scoring position. It only accounts for just, the lowest percentage of your team scoring every week for the most part. So I don't really mind punting it usually. I kind of like to either grab like an elite or like punt it like this. So those are kind of my two most common like tight end strats. Receiver, I think I caught up okay because I got 3 really early that I like quite a bit. And then, we got Golden as a 4, which I don't love, but we got good value. I really like Dobbs as a 5. I picked him in the last draft too. So I think I feel okay with the receiver room. Then we just took some flyers on AD and Jeremy. It feels okay, especially with my top 3. It's not it's not a big strength, but it doesn't feel overly weak. It feels like it definitely can be good enough to get by. And then I have the strength at running back. I have the elite quarterback. So I have strength at other places. This seems very similar to my last team. Receiver feels good enough, maybe a little bit weaker than the last team, but good enough. And then tight end is like good enough, especially with Juwan up top. I really like. So I think it's an okay team overall. Not nothing crazy, but I think right now it's hard to build teams that feel crazy, especially in a sharp lobby like this, where a lot of people obviously like know a lot of people, but like I think right now, we have the most information. There's not a lot of guys that near the end of the draft that you feel very confident in. So I think, it's hard to build a team that you're like, oh my God, this is the shipper, right? But especially in kind of a tougher lobby like this late in the year. But I think it feels like a totally solid team. It feels like, good enough at the rooms that are weaker and then strong in some rooms. So I think it feels like a pretty decent team overall. All right, let's start with Digger. So we're gonna look at Digger, we're gonna look at Amphill, Kale Elliott, and Killer Kazoo. So those 4. If anyone else in here that want me to check it out, let me know. This guy took Justin Fields. Do you have Mahomes at least? No, just Justin Fields, just raw dogging. I respect it. Do you have Rashi Rice or something? What's the deal? Let me check out this guy's team real quick. Nah, he ain't got shit with the Chiefs. He just wanted Justin Fields with the last round pick. I mean, hey, more power to you, brother. All right, 3582 for Digger. Caleb, Dart, Ward. So strong quarterback room. Could have stopped at 2 with Caleb and Dart. Throw on Ward at a good value. I don't mind that. I think that's a very strong quarterback room. Definitely could have stopped at 2, but 171 for Ward, maybe too good to pass up. Cam Scadaboo, Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, Woody Marks, Najee Harris. I think it's okay. You got 3 guys who are like, well, I mean, you got your stud in Cam Scadabo, your hero, right? Cam Scadabo. But then you have 2 guys who are in split backfields, but should be getting touches, maybe are the lead backs on their teams. So I think that feels good enough for your RB2 and 3 behind Scadabo, especially if Scadabo's healthy. He's like dominating like we hope. Then I think you're definitely good at running back. I think Woody's a good 4. I like his price where he goes. Big Naj behind Scadabo. He has some injury insurance, handcuff your own guy. It's not my favorite strategy, but you did pick Najee with the very last pick. He is kind of probably the Cam Scotabo replacement overall. So I think it's an okay last pick, I think it's an okay last pick. Yeah. I don't mind it. I think overall the running back room is fine. It's like good enough. Top 3 guys are good enough. Woody's a good 4. Um, Chase, Malik Neighbors. You did the double giants with Dart thing. So Chase, Neighbors, Drake London, Casey Conception, Trey Tucker, Omar Cooper, Malachi Fields, Calvin Ridley. Loveland Likely is good. So you got a really strong top 3, and then you wait a while. A lot of rookies, Casey, Cooper, Fields, Ridley to maybe help the rookies get through. I like the Trey Tucker pick where you got him. Yeah, I think it's pretty solid because I like these 3. I like the Casey Conception pick a lot. I really like him. I like the top 3 a lot. Yeah, I think you're good enough at receiver probably. You just really need Neighbors to be healthy. But if your top 3 guys are all healthy, it's probably strong enough of those 3 that it makes sense you waited so long for your other guys and then just kind of got more upside guys than like a lot of the rookies too. And then yeah, the elite tight end, really strong quarterbacks. Running back is good enough. So yeah, really strong onesies, and you spent a lot on your onesies with Loveland, Caleb, and Dart, which makes sense. And then yeah, I think your receiver room, as long as your top 3 are healthy and the running backs stay healthy, then I think you're feeling pretty good. I think it's a solid build overall. Yeah, solid build overall. The only issue would be if one of your receivers gets hurt, but if they're healthy, I think you're good. So yeah, pretty solid team, Digger or John. Um, yeah, I think I like that overall. Pretty solid. Let's look at Amp Phil. Ant Phil 3573, the optimal build, as we all know. Brock Purdy, Tyler Shuck, Aaron Rodgers. So that's kind of similar thing. I think last time I had 2 week 8 buys. It was like Dart and Stroud or whatever it was. But then you throw Rodgers on, cover that week 8 buy. Always like that. I think Purdy and Shuck is a good 2 QB room. Throw Rodgers on to cover the buy. Good QB room like that. Hampton, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Brian Robinson, Emmett Johnson. I think that's solid. Obviously, maybe you're taking a little bit extra risk with like 2 rookies, Jeremiah Love dealing with the injury right now. So, you can make the argument as far as those, like, they're less proven or whatever, but 2 first round running backs. So, you feel pretty good with them as your 2 and 3. Hampton has kind of your hero up top. I think that feels solid. They just wait a long time, just really kind of buy into these top 3 and wait a long time, get some backups. I think that's a solid way to build your running back room. Yeah. Wow. Really? You really like Brian Robinson, huh? 161 on old B Rob. Which I think is like okay to do, but it is a decent pull up. That's a decent pull up on him. But top 3 I think are strong enough to carry you. So that feels good. Amon-Ra, Tet, Mike Evans, Makai Lemon, Xavier Worthy, Jacoby Lane, Jalen McMillan, Kraft, Fryermuth, Parkinson. Tight end's good. Kraft and Fryermuth would even be fine as 2. Throw on Parkinson for some upside. I don't mind it. Receiver's pretty good. Yeah, receiver's pretty good. You have a decent top 3, pretty strong top 3. Makai Lemon, I think, is an okay pick where he goes. I'm not a huge Makai Lemon guy. I do like Makai Lemon, the prospect. I picked him more pre-draft, but I just don't love the Eagles situation. And then him missing all this time with the hammy, a little bit concerning to me. But I think he's okay as your 4. Worthy as your 5th. I'm not a big Worthy guy either, but he goes at a cheap enough price to like see the upside, I guess. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of Worthy, but he is cheap enough that it kind of makes sense now. Um, yeah, I think receivers okay. Your top 3 are strong enough, probably. Running back, obviously a lot of reliance on those rookies, like I said, but probably good enough. Tight end, good enough. Yeah, no, I think this team's pretty solid all around. Maybe not all my favorite personal like preference players as far as like Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Xavier Worthy, Makai Lemon. Maybe not my favorite like picks in a vacuum, but I think that the structure of it is pretty good overall. I think it makes sense. I think the biggest risky point is the 2 rookies. If they don't like totally take over and dominate right away, then the running back room could be pretty thin. I think that's probably your biggest risk point. And then obviously like Mike Evans' health probably is your other big risk point, especially if like early in the season you missed any time and then you're relying on like Lemon or Worthy or something. But I think it's a pretty solid team overall. It's like capital wise, structure wise, I think it all makes sense. Pretty solid team. Cale Elliott, 3663. Or was Cale Elliott in here? I don't know if Cale Elliott was actually. Cale Elliott's usually. Let me know if you're in here, Cale Elliott, and we'll check out the team if you want. We're gonna check out Killer Kazoo. He was in here for sure. 2583. Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love. So that's a good 2 QB room. That's fine. That's good enough to stop at 2. It's yeah, that's good enough because you got like a top 10 QB and then you got a top 20. I think 2 in the top 20 is generally good enough, and Trevor Lawrence is a good enough 1 to make sense. So that's fine. James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Travis Achan, Kyle Monangai, Tank Bigsby. So really strong kind of triple anchor up top. Wait a while, get Monangai. I think Monangai's an okay pick. I'm a little bit scared by the injury, but he's an okay pick where he goes. Yeah, I mean, that's a strong running back room. Your top 3 are crazy strong. Monaguy's actually a pretty good 4, especially if he's healthy early. And then Bigsby has an upside swing 5th is solid for sure. I like Bigsby quite a bit. He's obviously moved up into a range where I don't love him quite as much. I was picking a lot more earlier, but like in the 150 range, I think he's still a reasonable pick. He's just gotten a little bit more price cost prohibitive. We're like, I feel like I pick a lot of tight ends in Bigsby's range where he goes now. And that receiver, you want Waddle, Watson, Brian Thomas, Jaden Reed, Jalen Coker, Devon Vele, Jalen Knoll, Keyshawn Booty. How's the receiver room? The receiver room, so you doubled up Green Bay. I like that. You got BTJ with Trevor. You anything at tight end? No, that's fine though. You got some bringbacks too. Double Houston with your Green Bay. I like that. No Washington. That's fine though. I mean, I'm not really harping on the bringbacks too hard to be honest with you. But yeah, that's pretty solid. Top 4 by Reed. 5th is Coker, which is fine. Then you wait a while. That's probably good enough. And you did get 8. You got some volume in there too. That's actually a decent receiver room. Yeah, no, that's decent. His 4 by Reed is pretty solid to me. Yeah, and then tight end Andrew Schultz, Hawkinson, totally solid. I love the Schultz price right now. I think Andrews is still a totally fair price. Hawkinson a little faller. I like him too. So that's a solid tight end room. Receiver solid. Running back's very strong. Quarterback's good enough. Stop at 2. I think this is a strong team killer, Kazoo. I like it. I like it overall. This is a pretty strong team. I guess it's just, yeah, as long as these receivers kind of hit, which capital wise, I think you spend enough capital there. I think, yeah, you're feeling pretty good. So yeah, solid team, Killer Kazoo. I like it. We can check. Was Kale Elliott in the chat? I don't think Kale Elliott's in here. We're gonna skip his team. Let's catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll catch up with the chat real quick, and then we can look at we'll look at some of my exposure stuff if you guys want to see it. But yeah, then we'll get out of here. And just a reminder, I see some new names in here. Me and Fantasy Football Garage going live later tonight. FFPC Big Gorilla in about an hour, actually exactly an hour. Going live on his channel. I have it linked in the description. So definitely check that out after this video if if you're looking for more drafts. And that'll be at high stakes, more on the line, more real discussions. And it's always nice, discussing the picks with someone else. Zayflower or Hampton, half PPR for DFS. It'd have to be Hampton, right? Well, who does let me look who Hampton gets. Because I know Zay plays the Colts, right? Oh, Hampton plays Arizona. Yeah, bro, Hampton by far. Week 1, Hampton by far against Arizona. That's a dream matchup. I like Zay. Zay's good though, but Hampton for sure week 1. DK Millie last night. Hurts and Bo Nix, A-Chain Kyron, David Montgomery, Chuba and Najee, JSN Igbuka, Tet Diggs, Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, Jerry Jeudy, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, Jay Ferguson, Hawk Schultz. That sounds solid. It's a little hard to contextualize looking at it in the list like this, but I think A-Chain Kyron, David Montgomery feels like a solid top 3. Chuba's a good 4. Then you wait a long time to get Najee, just as kind of like an upside swing if someone gets hurt. So a solid running back room. Hurts and Bo Nix is solid. Hurts and Bo Nix have the same bye week though, so hopefully you got a third quarterback in there. I'm not a fan of taking a 0 at quarterback on week. I don't think that's I think that's kind of a no-no for me. Yeah, because Bo Nix and Hurts are both week 10. So that would be one thing I don't totally love. JSN Igbuka, Tet Diggs, Mekhi Lemon, very strong receiver room though. I think that's a really solid team. See, this is why I don't draft on DraftKings. I see these super teams and I don't know if I ever get them. So yeah, definitely a very strong team though. I like that quite a bit. One of my fave teams all season drafting right now is weird, either great or meh. I feel like that too. It feels like especially right now getting into a room like this with a bunch of people who like I've been drafting with for a long time. These rooms feel like pretty bad right now, to be honest with you. Because like no one's pushing any value. Everyone knows like kind of the guys I want, I feel like, or the guys I don't like. So it's like these rooms feel pretty terrible right now, to be honest with you. The rooms with randos in them can feel pretty good this time of year because sometimes you get people who don't do a lot of best ball and maybe they're just trying to do 1 or 2 for their redraft league, or they do so much best ball that they're like, let me just get different, let me get unique. And while they get unique, I can just scoop some values and stuff, And and what's up, Minx here? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it. John Tremaine, thanks for checking out my team. And I wasn't trying to snipe you. Oh yeah, no, I know. Hey, you're just trying to build your best team. I know that for sure. Like you're not, and like even if okay, let's say you knew I like Casey Conception, you were sniping them. If you like Casey Conception, that's just smart. I mean, at the end of the day, we're drafting against each other. Like yeah, like I would get kind of annoyed if it was like, oh, you don't have any of the guys that stack with the quarterback and you're just taking all my stack quarterbacks, right? But like you had like, okay, I kind of wanted Caleb, right? But you had Loveland. So it's like, it makes sense. You're going to take Caleb before I'm on the clock when I have Luther Burden. Like I am never going to get upset about that. Maybe in the draft, I'll say something, but like that is, we're drafting against each other. We're trying to build the best teams. You're trying to build your best team. As long as you're trying to build your best team, I'm never going to be upset about anything like that. Even if it's a guy like desperately wanted or needed for a build, if you feel like that's the best pick for your build as well, then like, yeah, I would never be upset about that. So, I would say I more feign the anger. I fake the anger sometimes during the draft, because I'm supposed to react and I don't always react that much. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, go ahead, snipe me. It's all good. um, but yeah, I would never be upset about that. And yeah, of course, checking out team, of course. I only have 8 BBMs left, so I'm doing some DKs now. Oh, okay, got you. And what's up, Jack Dog? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Yeah, I still have quite a bit of BBM. I'm not gonna max it. I'm probably gonna get close to 100, but I'm not gonna max. I'm at about 75 now. So yeah, so I'm still ripping them. I just wanted to get that promo, and they have a promo this weekend. Do 4 get 1. You have to start it on your phone, just so you know, like if that was something you already did or were gonna do or something. Nice little promo. I think you get 5 days to complete it, so a decent little window. But yeah, that's why I'm ripping more BBMs right now personally. But no, that's fair. And DK turning me feels pretty good. I see some super teams over there, so definitely can feel pretty good over there. You get some super teams. Wanted to build it with just a good bit of upside, could smash pieces. That's fair. That's fair. Oh, with the later receivers and stuff. Yeah. No, I think that's or in the rookie running backs and stuff. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think in introducing some variance into your build is never a bad idea, right? Like you need the variance to hit in your favor. So maybe you do pick like maybe I'm saying like, oh, maybe like Price and Love are a little riskier, but it's like they could also absolutely smash and be first round picks next year in best ball. So it's like I think that's totally fine to pick those guys for sure. John B, what's up, John B? Thanks, stop by, bro. 14-man full PBR super flex. Picked up CMC, then Genty. That's a great start. Dart, Neighbors, Darnold, Adams. Oh, super flex. Right. Okay. Dart in the third is great. I feel like, right? Dart in the third's got to be a great value in super flex. Neighbors, Darnold, Adams, Devontae Adams. It has to be Kelsey, Michael Wilson, Lemon, Casey Conception, Algier, Dylan Sampson. Am I cooked or did I cook? I mean, the running backs are very strong. I love the CMC Genty start. I think Dart and Darnold is good enough. Neighbors, Adams, Michael Wilson, Lemon, Casey Conception. I love the Casey Conception pick back there too. No, I think it's a solid team. I think you have a super strong double anchor at running back. And then I think Dart is actually a really great value in the third round if that's where you got him. Dart in the third round, a 14-man is crazy because in like underdog superflex, Dart goes at like 20 or something. He goes in the late second or mid second. So that's a great value on him. I think it's a solid team overall. And I think your receivers, like, I think you built it in a way that makes sense where you have like 2 super strong running backs up top. So as long as they're healthy, I think you're solid. And then you just waited a super long time on running back, got volume at receiver, you got Neighbors and Adams kind of carry it. But then you got huge upside with Lemon and Conception, and Michael Wilson even has pretty big upside. Kelsey is just a good tight end pick. He's a good value because he goes so late this year, especially in full PPR. Kelsey is just a good value usually this year. I think it's a really solid team overall, John B. I think you built it really well too, where you didn't overdo it at running back. You got your 2 absolute studs, and then you waited a while to go back into running back. So I think you built it pretty well. It looks solid. Hampton 0.5. Minx here, Hampton 0.5. Was that for the week 1? Oh, you were answering the question. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Hampton 0.5 for sure. Goofy Chicken, sup, Arvin? Hey, what's up, Goofy Chicken? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it. And if you guys don't know, definitely go check out Goofy Chicken Fantasy. I was over on there on Wednesday. We're gonna try to get Goofy Chicken on the channel either next week or the week after. Definitely before drafting season's over. I'm gonna try to get Goofy and Tex over here on this channel. We're gonna rip some drafts. But he had me over there. He had me over there on Wednesday. Definitely a good time over there. Definitely go check out the Goofy Chicken if you don't know. Minx here, exactly. That's what happened in that draft. People got different. I scooped mega value. My first thought when I looked at the team after was crap. Both QBs have same buy. Hopefully skill players make it up. Right. I totally agree. I think that was the only real flaw I saw. The rest of them did look like good values, especially if you're drafting that like right now, like currently. So I think the team looked really solid. And if you can make it through that bye week, then you're going to be like cruising. I think that team looked really solid. So, and hopefully with all those values and like the nice construction otherwise, you are able to just kind of gap your pod or even just sneak in with the second spot. So definitely like that build over. That was a strong build. Yeah, strong build though, Minx. Yeah, hey, I appreciate all you guys stopping by, chatting, drafting with me. We can look at. I did say we'll look at my like exposures and stuff really quick over here, like my kind of structures and whatnot. We can look at it quick. I know some people might not really be interested, but we'll just take a look real quick and then I'm gonna hop off. Like I said, link in the description for that video later tonight. We're gonna be live in about 45, 50 minutes, and we're gonna be doing the big gorilla on FFPC. Hopefully I said it enough times. Hopefully I didn't annoy you guys saying it too much. But yeah, me and Candyman are gonna be over there drafting that. Obviously, kind of wanted, just promo it a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna be over there doing high stakes. Oh yeah, so I guess I don't know. There's so much info over here. I'm on fantasy.vip. Can you see it? It's in the top left corner. If you look over there, fantasy.vip. If any of you guys want to check out your portfolios, this website is totally free to use. Totally just totally free to use. Has a bunch of cool stuff. You use it for DraftKings or for Underdog. If you go to the My Data page, you can upload all your different types of drafts. But yeah, just looking at my portfolio, like my strategies, my top builds actually. 3573, I'm doing 21% of the time. I said a lot more. I guess less than that. But it is my most common build. 3683 is a pretty common build, and that's super flex. So, or no, that's pre-draft. Let me do main slate. Sorry. Main slate 3573 is my most common, 31%. 3672 at 16%, 2673 at 12%. So, I'm generally going with the 3 quarterback builds the most. 2 quarterback build, that's my top one at 12%. 3582 at 11, 2583 at 8.6. My strategies, and they define it a little different with some of the strategies. I believe late tight end is you don't take a tight end until after round 10, 9 or 10. But late tight end, I do on 42% of my builds. Robust RB is 32%, but then you see wide receiver heavy is 23%. So I do vary it quite a bit, especially in different pockets of the summer. I was varying it quite a bit. Like I was saying earlier, I probably will lean a little bit more towards the robust RB as we wind down. I think the late RB values are kind of like getting pulled up the board, like the Jaden Blues, the Marshawn Lloyds, the Jonah Colemans. They're moving up the board because we have clarity on those backfield situations. So, and double anchor, you can see is one of my most common builds. 0 RB light, which probably means I pick my first running back in like the 5th round. And then I did a lot of builds, especially early, where I'd pick my first running back in the 5th round, like let's say like a Bucky, a Quinshawn, a Montgomery, Scadaboo if they fell, but like a Swift went in the 5th round for a lot of it. One of those guys, and then I would just really like pound running back. I'd do like a 5th round running back, then a 7th, then and like maybe a 6th, but usually the 6th round I get like some other position like receiver, elite quarterback, or like Tyler Warren. But then I'd go like 7th round running back, 8th round running back, 9th round running back, and I'd have like 4 by 9 rounds. Even if I didn't start till like round 5, I would really just hammer it out in the next couple. So that was pretty common build for me, especially like a month ago. I was doing those a lot, I feel like. As you can see, Underdog's been absolutely screwing me on the top picks. Look at this. I'm under expectation on all 1 through 4 picks. I'm over expectation on all 10 on all 9 through 12 picks. Total BS. This is nonsense. Way over expectations on pick 5, which is literally the worst pick on the board. UD is trying to hold me down. I'm not gonna let them. I'm still gonna crush, even though they won't give me the good picks. They did today at least, so maybe the variance is working out in my favor. Top playoff matchups I'm targeting, obviously the Detroit versus the Giants, Detroit versus Minnesota. KC at LAC is actually the most common. Detroit, Chicago is next. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of cool stuff here. There's so much stuff, like it's hard to even show it. You can see your closing line, your true CLV on these guys, like where you got them. Obviously, like Stephon Diggs, I have a ton of positive CLV. K-Tron, I have like not a great CLV, obviously. But it's cool too. If you click on a player, you can see like where was I picking them, when was I picking them. So like the line represents their ADP, right? Or the line represents like the ADP, like as it's been moving, but it's not quite to the level he's at right now. But as you can see, like I was just hammering him early. I haven't really picked him much lately, but like up until he signed, I was still getting him in the 130s like really often. I was just picking them all in the 120 to 130 range. I was hammering Stephon Diggs. Hopefully it works out. Obviously super early. I was getting them really late, but yeah, hopefully that one works out. Not picking them a ton now, but picking them here and there. I don't mind grabbing them, but not picking them very much lately, as you can see. but just a ton of cool info over here. You can see my big fades. We could show my big fades really quick. That's kind of interesting, maybe. So these are guys that I have 2% of my total money or less on them. We could even raise it to 3% because then we'll see some actual interesting names. So under 3% of my total fees in underdog main slate. I have Trey McBride. I'm at 3% exposure. I'm at 3% on Kyron. I'm at 2% on Emeka Egbuka. I'm at 1% on Quentin Johnston, 3% on RJ Harvey, 1% on Michael Wilson, 3% on Kyle Pitts, 4% on Matthew Golden. But as you can see, the money's low, so I must have picked him in like more puppies or something. 3% on Harold Fannin. That one, I'm just not a huge Harold Fannin guy. I kind of like betting more on the rookie receivers for the Browns. And I think they are going to be a pretty trash team, especially passing. I don't believe in the quarterbacks very much. I'm more of a Shadur guy than Watson guy, but even then it's probably still going to be relatively low level quarterback play. Jake Ferguson, I got a pretty big fade on. Jonah Coleman, I have 5%, but I guess I just didn't really pick him in a lot of like high dollar contests. So that would be one I'd be open to changing a little bit. Jalen Naylor, I'm low on. I don't like Jalen Naylor. I'm more of a Trey Tucker guy. Ryan Flournoy, I'm not big on. I don't know. Ryan Flournoy is okay if there was an injury, but I'm not super in on him. AD Mitchell, I'm not super in on, like I said earlier, but I get a little bit. They've been talking him up. Cyrus Allen, I should probably get a little bit more as well. Pacheco, I'm not really in on, but he's been falling quite a bit. So I could see getting a little bit as he falls, especially if Detroit continues to not sign anyone. Like right now, Pacheco's probably actually a pretty good value if they don't sign anyone. Low on Tank Dell, don't like Tank Dell. I guess low on Tesla, but that's another one. I have like 5%. It's just the fees are low. Sounds a little weird. Jerry Judy, I'm low on. I don't like Jerry Judy. And then it's kind of just like nobody's. Lower on Vele. I can get some Vele whenever I want, though. He doesn't really go much higher. Lower on Bateman, could get some Bateman. But these guys are just like super late picks. You know, my big fades, Trey McBride, Kyron, Emeka, Quentin Johnston, Harvey, Michael Wilson, Kyle Pitts, Golden, Fannin. So those are my biggest fades. That might be kind of interesting to some people. NFL teams, you can see which teams you put the most money on. Mine's obviously Washington because I have a bunch of Katron and Diggs. So that kind of adds up. But, you know, just a really cool site. All free to use, all no login required, no info required. You just all free to use. You can check your DraftKings, your Underdog. Super cool website. Like I love this. This guy's stuff is awesome. There's even an overlay on here too. You can put an overlay on your BB on your like Underdog and stuff from this site too. So really great site. Lots of cool stuff. I definitely recommend checking it out if you're into that kind of stuff, like checking out your portfolio and all that. The fantasy.vip. I highly recommend the website. It's just a great website and totally free to use, you know. I'll put the link in the chat too. Let's see what Minx here. Clutch, haven't seen that. Yeah, you know, it's really cool. And there's like so much stuff in here that like, oh, you can check out your drafts too. Go by like most ADP value, most CLV value. Let's actually look really quick. Let's see my most ADP value. So I have 233 picks of ADP in this big board. So we got Jaden Daniels, Herbert. We got Rodgers at 224. That's probably pretty common in my big boards. I picked a lot of Rodgers. CMC, Hampton, Travis Etienne, Tyrone Tracy, Tank Bigsby, Tyrone Tracy, RIP, Tank Bigsby, Ray Davis, but Tank Bigsby at 185, so that's a good value. Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin, Michael Wilson, Wandale, Matthew Golden, Debo, Trey Tucker, Antonio Williams. Got a bunch of value on Trey Tucker. Decent amount on Debo too. George Kittle, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz. This is a solid team. But yeah, but I don't know. It's just fun to look at these. You know, you can see like where you got the ADP value. You can see their schedule here, the correlation you have, the same team, the week 15, 16, 17, the capital you spent in the buckets. Obviously, this one I overspent on running back, it's telling me. Based on BBM 4 through 6 finalists, but you know, we don't believe in that. No, I did spend pretty hard on running back in this one. But I don't know, just a really interesting site. Lots of cool stuff over there. Looks like you have both a lot of Keenan and Diggs. Has to feel great for just purpose of advancement points. I have a ton of Diggs, but missed Keenan train this year, even though it was on last year. I don't have a ton of Keenan, I don't think. So Diggs is my highest owned receiver in every format. Or not in pre-draft, but he's up there. I have 21% still in pre-draft. but main slate I have 19%. So I'm like over 20% digs in most formats. Keenan, it'd be lower. Well, okay, Keenan, I kind of started pounding him. Like you can see my average pick is 201. Um, I didn't really pick him much early. I started getting in late. And I did kind of overpick him the day he signed. I did overpick him once. I picked him at 147. That was a mistake. I got too hyped. I was in a draft when he went. I got too excited. So, my bad on that one. But I was really hammering him. Like you see this is 8-2. So August 2nd, I just started like hammering him. And in my like BBMs and a lot of higher stake stuff, or not higher stakes, but like BBMs and stuff. A lot of these are puppies too, I guess. But that's why I just have like decent exposure on him because I was taking him in like all my BBMs around them before he signed. So that kind of helped. I didn't take much early, but I don't know why the last like 2 weeks before he signed, I was like, well, he's got to sign soon. I should probably just pick him. So I ended up getting some. It's not like I have a crazy amount, but at least I have a decent amount of fees in them. So no, I didn't get too crazy though. Diggs, I was super in on, but Keenan, I did get a little worried. You should buy the Igbuka scare with the lower exposure right now. He does have a chance to smash the ball breaks right for him this year. I actually really agree with you, Minx. Today I did have the 1 and 2 picks in my BBMs, but in the fourth, like I think in one of those last ones we looked at, I did close underdog, but in one of those last ones we looked at, he did go at like 44. I would absolutely pick him there right now, even though I'm lower on him. I would absolutely pick him, especially in like BestBall Manias or something. If he fell the mid to late fourth, I would buy the dip because I do see the upside. I do think the upside's real. I would definitely buy the dip some on him. And like I was saying too, I'm a little bit flatter exposure guy. I mean, you saw my fade list. It wasn't like all that robust even. So I would definitely be buying the dip if he's in the fourth. I just wasn't really in a good position today to get him, but that is definitely something I'll do. Yeah. Oh, that's the fantasy VIP. That's the tracker. So definitely check that out. If you want to check out your portfolio and stuff, it's pretty easy to get it all going and stuff. And then check the description down below. I'll drop it in the chat too. 1 second. Sorry. Cut. Okay. Let me paste this. So like I said earlier, I'll be live with Fantasy Football Garage in about 40 minutes, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, I guess. And we're gonna be doing the Big Gorilla $350 entry draft on FFPC. We're gonna be co-managing it. We're gonna be doing it together, so should be a good time. We did one last year. We're doing it again. Definitely come and check that out if you don't know. But hey, thanks everyone for stopping by, chatting, drafting. Always a good time. And I'll probably be back on this channel tomorrow as well. So definitely, stop by for some more drafts. But yeah, thanks everyone for stopping by, chatting, drafting. Always a good time.